I don't know.
Are we live?
There we go. There we go. We're live. Once you see the little timer start,
Yeah.
that's when it starts. For me, it's
Mine
on
says-
7, 8,
Oh, no. See, mine says
9,
15.
10. Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what the difference is, but
It's
all good.
Something, I guess, huh? Yeah.
Does
and then,
my video match my audio?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's all good then.
Cool. There we go. Automatically. Automatically 17 people are in here, it says. It just
nice. 26.
this thing is
17
so
thumbs
weird.
up. 31.
Yeah, this is some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Weird
It's
stuff.
all good.
But we got to say, you guys, make sure you subscribe.
That's right.
Click the subscribe button.
Scroll down, click subscribe.
Yeah.
And then the
Thumbs
bell.
up.
Got to do the bell. Do the bell.
Yeah, you want to know when this is coming on, so. And Johnny Beane's second channel as well.
Yes. Did you see the stuff I posted to there today?
You were at the beach, right?
I was at the beach.
Mhm.
I did a how many miles was it? 3 miles?
Wow.
I walked 3 miles. Which that doesn't sound long, but it actually takes a little while.
On a beach, it's a little more challenging because I mean, if you're walking through sand, did you have your shoes off?
Yeah, no, I had my shoes on.
Oh, you got to take your shoes off at the beach.
The problem is, though, is you can see where you're going. You see the end, but it takes forever to get.
Oh,
to
yeah. Paul, you've been to like Salisbury and Hampton Beach, right?
Yeah. No, the problem is, Johnny, the world is flat and you'll never get to the end of it because the government has the edges of it fortified.
Yeah.
Not sure you knew that. You'll never get to the end of it.
It's a big movie set.
Yeah.
You'll just keep
It's
going.
like the Truman Show. It's the Johnny Show.
There's
Yeah.
Jay's chiming in there. He's going to join in a few minutes.
Awesome. Well, you guys, welcome to the Johnny Show. Straturday night.
That's right.
October 12th, 2019, 9:16 p.m. for a couple of us. Midnight 16 on the 13th
That's right.
for one of us.
We're crossing the international date line right now.
I know.
It's an international show.
It's like a time machine.
That's why if you look at the what do you call it? The screen, like before the show starts, the way I put the time in there because of the time difference. I
Right.
can't say midnight. I can't say 9 o'clock because
It's a different
midnight
day.
for him it's a different day. It's Sunday, so I have to put 8:55 or whatever.
Well, it's interesting for John BL. It's late night and everything is over for Saturday night. But for you and me, it's the middle of the night, like the middle of the meat of Saturday night.
Right.
What are you doing tonight?
Prime time, yeah.
What are you doing Saturday night? I'm hanging out with Johnny Beane online. Oh, you have a great life.
Well, when you say it like that.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's
No,
the
you're
abuse
right.
I take. The abuse I take from people that actually have a life on a Saturday night that are out partying and doing their thing. Hey, you want to go to Scottsdale tonight and go drinking? No. Why? Gotta go hang out with Johnny
Because
Beane.
I'm 40 years old. I'm 45 years old.
I'm 51 years old and I don't go bar hopping anymore.
Man.
Dude, I'm going with a bunch of my frat brothers down to Scottsdale. Yeah, good. Have fun with that.
My brothers.
That's what's going to happen. Some little sorority freshman girl in the bar in Scottsdale is going to be like, "Oh my God, my uncle is here."
Right.
Call me daddy. How about grandpa? How about that?
That's sad at this point. Yeah, we're old enough.
Uh,
Although we
well,
don't know, Johnny could be a grandpa. We don't even know his situation. He's
Ned could
very
be a
quiet.
grandpa.
That's right.
We don't know how old Ned is.
Ron Paget says, "I'm 52. I love staying home." I agree, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
I've always been a homeboy. I love it.
Even when I was in a band, I didn't want to go out unless we were playing.
That was the best thing about college. We all lived like within 20 feet of each other, different rooms or whatever. And, we didn't have to leave the floor to have, on any daily basis. And your best friends are like right next door. And it was good times, man.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, here's my stupid purchases for the last couple of days. I just bought the Sweet and Lynch second record.
Cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, which
I'm not familiar with that
Michael
project. Michael Sweet,
it's pretty
Michael
good.
Sweet and David Lynch, George Lynch.
Yes, David Lynch. It's a murder mystery starring a Jesus-loving guy who plays guitar.
Yeah.
And then I bought a couple of the old Enough's Enough records because I think that band is way better than they ever got credit for. So I bought some of the old Enough's Enough stuff at my local secondhand CD shop.
I know I saw them open for someone awesome. at some point back in the early 90s.
Great band. I mean, obviously came at the end of that whole era, but more Cheap Trick and Beatles than Firehouse and Motley. You know what I mean? They're much more
kind of Tesla kind of.
Yeah, even poppier than that though. They were more of a pop. I think Enough's Enough had more in common with the Outfield than they did Motley Crue.
Mm-hmm.
Stunned silence from the audience.
The Outfield, is that was that Jimmy Page? No.
No.
What am I thinking of?
What was that? There was,
the Outfield was Your Love.
Your Love.
Yeah. On a vacation far
Oh, okay,
away.
Yeah. I would have said that was Loverboy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only song I have on my iPod.
Good band. Really good band. That first record is just, I mean, granted, it's a guilty pleasure record. It's, that early 80s, mid 80s pop music, but it was really good. Like the Outfield was like Hooters, and they weren't really top 40. They weren't really alternative. They weren't really hard rock. They were just sort of they weren't as cheesy as Loverboy. They were just kind of a fun band. They absolutely epitomized like 1983 to 1987.
Mm-hmm.
Great 80s cheese. I mean, like arguably the best 80s cheese. Like those guys, Big Country.
Big Country, oh yeah.
That sort of came and went real quick. So
Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah, same thing. Great example of it.
Mm-hmm.
One-hit wonders, but they did have some great, if you were able to explore the record, there was some good songs.
Yeah. No, that first, if you're looking for a fun, like 80s pop record that you'll put in it and you'll be like, oh my God, I love this song. Oh my God, I love this song. Play Deep, the first record from the Outfield, is the one to get. It might as well be a greatest hits. It's like the Cars' first album or Boston's first album, where all the great songs are on that one record.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one that Your Love is on?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check that out, because that's the only song that I downloaded from them. Because that's the only one I knew. But
you'll like the record, Johnny, because you have a sense of melody and like, a well constructed song. These are well constructed songs. That first record is really phenomenal for what it is. It's obviously not,
Do you know who produced that?
No, but I can tell you. I'll grab the record if you want, and I'll tell you. Hang on.
Why not? If
they've got like 6 albums out.
Your Love. Okay, Play Deep. 1985.
Produced by William Whitman.
I have no idea why I own all this. Oh shit! Now I gotta put on my.
So they were a power trio.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can remember in that point in the 80s, the Police were the biggest thing in the world. So
yeah,
another trio would be a great thing. Produced by Willie Whitman.
Willie Whitman.
Wilkinson? Whitten?
Will Wheaton?
Fuck if I know. I have my glasses on and I still can't read it.
Oh yeah.
It's William Whitman. Yeah, it's tough to read. Here.
I gotta take my glasses off to read stuff.
Willie Whitman.
It's produced by William
Walt Whitman.
Yes.
Whitman. Wildman.
Whatever.
Will Wheaton Whitman.
Somebody.
Billy.
Shit.
They call him Billy.
It's gone.
Somebody did it.
But they're I mean, they made a couple of records that one was a big one. And then the second one was called Bangin', and that only had one song on it that ever did anything. And then they put like 3 or 4 more records out. They got actually heavier as they went on in their career, but this is a thumbnail sketch of The Outfield.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually kind of binge watched some of their videos one night.
Like they must have had some
a while back.
MTV play.
Yeah, they were. They were an MTV band.
Yeah. Say It Isn't So is another single.
Another big song on that record.
I'm gonna have to. I wonder if this stuff's on Spotify. It probably is, right?
I'm guessing, sure.
Okay.
There's the three songs on this record were Say It Isn't So, Your Love, and All the Love. A lot of love going on in this record.
All the love.
But really, really good record, for what it is.
Every Time You Cry is another one it says.
Another great song. See? All of a sudden, you're looking at that record going, oh, I know this, and I know this, and I know this.
Well, yeah, it's like you go to their concert and you're expecting to hear one hit, and then you hear a bunch of songs that you recognize, which is always cool.
You know who was like that in the 90s was Collective Soul.
Oh, yeah.
Collective Soul is another band. They're nobody's favorite band, but
they're a great live band. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you grab Collective Soul's greatest hits record, every song on it is just a son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say nobody's favorite band?
Yeah, they're nobody's favorite.
True,
band. Yeah. Nobody stayed up late on a Monday night or a Friday night saying, the new Collective Soul comes out tomorrow. We got to go. Like nobody showed up at Tower Records on Sunset for the midnight sale for Collective Soul.
Yeah.
Like it didn't.
And their career only had a good 5 years of great stuff. But I think they opened on the Balance tour for Van Halen, I believe. Balance or
the Balance tour was Our Lady Peace.
Well, different bands, and I'm pretty sure it was Collective Soul in Worcester when I saw them.
That sounds familiar to me. Collective Soul
could have been, yeah.
Van Halen.
But that's one of those. That's one of those bands that you grab their greatest hits record, and you're like, wow, I love this song. I love this.
I remember when I worked, they came to the Casino Ballroom when I was working there. Probably maybe 99, 2000 or something, and they played U2. What the heck is the song? I can't think of the name of it now. But they played a U2 song. They covered a U2 song, and it was a great cover.
Wait, with or without you?
No, it was. It's got the. They play a bottle in the song. They're playing like on a bottle.
Oh, I know they do a great cover of Crazy Train too.
It's an early song. I'll figure it
out. Question comes in. I just lost it. From Hardwood Steaks, is it better in E-flat tuning for guitar tones, writing ideas, or for the singer to be a half step down? Well, it's always better for the singer to be a half step down because it makes it that much easier on your voice, and it makes the song sound a little chunkier, a little heavier. Yeah. So that's my thought on it. As far as guitar tones and writing ideas, again, the guitar tone sounds a little thicker, a little heavier when you're down a half step. And and again, as a singer, that half step can make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. It might make a difference, though, if you have a male singer or a female singer. You think?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, look, without sounding like a sexist asshole, most female singers sound the same. Their tones are very, very similar. Like Pat Benatar and Vixen sound the same to me. Blondie sounds the same to me. It's rare that you get an Ann Wilson or a Sass Jordan or a Beth Hart that has, this amazing voice. A lot of female singers sound the same. And I would assume that, a lot of male singers tend to sing way above try to sing way above their natural range because baritone singers didn't become a thing until the 90s, really.
Eddie Vedder.
Yeah. You notice Chris Cornell changed. Like in the 80s when they were doing Louder Than Love stuff, he was belting it out, higher. And then when Down on the Upside came out, they were down another step.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Brett.
Well, Soda asks, what about D
Brett.
Standard like Motley Crue? Well, the reason why Motley Crue tuned down like that was A, it sounds heavier, and B, we all know Vince Neil can't sing. He was never a great singer.
I don't hate to say this.
It was never,
I've always said this. I've never been a fan of Vince Neil's voice. Never.
Motley Crue is super overrated. Super overrated. Came at the right time.
That's what it was. Yeah.
They came at the right time. They were the bridge between Van Halen and Guns N' Roses, and God love them for it. but they came at the right time, and Bob Rock really made them sound amazing. Shout at the Devil is a cool record.
Which albums did Bob Rock produce with them? He didn't produce their earliest albums, like Shout at the Devil. Or,
no.
Like Theater of Pain.
I think those were Tom Allom. I could be wrong, but I think those are Tom Allom records.
Must have been Dr. Feelgood would have been Bob Rock.
Dr. Feelgood is a Bob Rock record.
Yeah. Theater of Pain. That was probably, I don't know. We'll have to look that up too.
Football Legends. We've talked about the Merry Melodies LP in the background on several occasions. That's the original Van Halen EP that came out before the first album. They rushed to get it out because Eddie Van Halen, in his infinite wisdom, brought a demo of "You Really Got Me" up to the folks over in Angel at a rehearsal studio, and those guys in Angel decided they wanted to do a cover of "You Really Got Me" as well and get it out before they did. So,
like they rushed into the studio like the next morning.
to
record the song, and Eddie gets a phone call, like somebody, like Ted Templeman, somebody calls him up and saying, "Hey," and that's a story I heard.
I do remember hearing that. I don't know the details.
Was it Punky Meadows? Was that the party he was at? Was it Punky Meadows party?
Oh, that part I didn't hear. I just heard Eddie said at one point, maybe it was in maybe it was like one of his first guitar player interviews, maybe, where he talked about playing the demo of that, or
it was in an interview at some point. I can't remember.
Playing it for the guys of Angel at a party, and then them, rushing into the studio the next day to try to put it out, and so literally
that next day,
yeah. So maybe that song was released. Well, John Biel.
Let's just see. Angel was the band.
Yeah, Angel. I don't think Angel did Angel ever recorded their version of "You Really Got Me," and I could be wrong. I've got the Angel catalog here. Why, I don't know.
Warner Brothers chose "You Really Got Me" to herald the coming of the new Colossus. Blah blah blah. The band was bummed that their company decided the first release. Definitely says, "Where's the Angel?" Okay. Barry Brand from the rival Sunset Strip Club act Angel. Eddie played a finished version of the demo for him, only to learn that Angel were in the studio bashing out their own version of the Pink song. 77.
You're right, Mike. Angel did put out an album called Live Without a Net.
A few bands. Grateful Dead put out an album.
Without a net is a common phrase for the
circus term, I think.
Yeah, right? It's a circus term for safety. You could be right. I forget who said it. I apologize. It could have been Tom Werman or Tom Allom. Tom Allom did Judas Priest records, and I think Tom Werman did Motley Crue records. I could be wrong, but
Tom Werman did Shout at the Devil.
Right.
What was the next one?
Vistalite. Tommy Lee is a fantastic drummer. And has it's weird. Because
he wasn't really a metal drummer. I mean, he was more like a Bonham. He was a Bonham, really. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a marching band drummer. He's he's got a groove. He's got a swing. There are certain drummers that have a swing, and Tommy Lee has that swing. Arguably the best pure musician in the band.
And he played a lot of the piano parts, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Feelgood was the first Bob Rock album.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Bob Rock made them bigger than big. Motley Crue's super overrated. But when you talk about hair bands, they are one of the big four. So,
I think of the big four, like thrash. So the big four hair bands? I guess Poison would have to be up there.
That'd be the fourth one.
Bon Jovi.
It's Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and Poison, and then the rest of them. There's a huge drop.
There you go. Yeah.
I like three of those bands anyway,
Poison's better than they get credit for.
Although,
and I actually think of all of those bands, if you go back and listen to that second tier, it's obvious that Def Leppard and Bon Jovi are the top two. They're like, if you're talking about hair bands, they're like the Beatles, Stones of hair bands. Those are the two biggest ones. The jury is already in on that. But then you get down to that next tier. I actually think Rat wrote better songs than Motley Crue or Poison. I think if you go back and listen to those Rat albums, they're, start to finish, I think they're better records. And Rat's Greatest Hits record is a phenomenal piece too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Def Leppard's a hairband band. That's what they are. Whether we want to agree with it or not, they started out as a new wave of British heavy metal band, but yeah, they're a hair band.
Oh, they absolutely adapted to that. After in the late '80s.
1987.
Yeah.
It's Def Leppard. That's
Hysteria.
all there was.
Hysteria was huge. My
It's
God,
the greatest hair band record of all time.
Yeah,
and it's just it's that's a great album. I mean, from that and Pyromania. I mean, from beginning to end, they're all hits.
Mm-hmm.
Soda just asked if I like John Sykes. Of course, I like John Sykes. Huge John Sykes fan. In fact, just picked up a Japanese compilation called "Don't Say You Love Me." Shit, I don't know. But it's like a couple of tracks that he did with Phil from Thin Lizzy, and then a bunch of Tigers of Pantang live stuff.
Cool.
What's up, Brett?
That's cool. Hey guys, yeah, who's in here?
Yeah, we didn't.
Mitch
do a roll
Harmon
call
is
yet.
in here. Soda, thrash metal. Ron Project, the Dog Paw.
Bam Mozzie,
Renus.
Eduardo Marino Porto.
Renus Pinkle dropping a Blues Saraceno reference. Nice job.
Pistolite, Mike Neese. And
Janice Lala is in here or was in here.
Say Guitar Hack.
Guitar Hack is in here. Hal Face.
Dr. Jimmy, Brent
Half-Face.
Butt Cheeks.
Han 36 Solo is in the house.
Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael's here. Hey, Dr. Jimmy, welcome, man. Football legends, Sean Zimmerman.
Is that Ned? Is Ned over there? Or is that something on your couch? Is that Ned?
That is Ned.
Ned is in the house.
We have a Ned sighting.
Look at this. That's his face. He's like leaning.
Well, I see his paws. That's all I see is his
That
tail
white,
and
that's his
paws.
chin. That's his chin.
Oh, okay. I see him. Yeah, he's upside down.
The white, yeah, he's upside. He always sleeps upside down, always.
Bam Mozzie says that he wouldn't put Def Leppard in the hairband category.
Yeah,
at all.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's great. You're in the minority. You're in the minority because they are.
Yeah.
Especially,
they crossed over. They definitely crossed over. I mean, they were
especially
definitely
from
hard rock.
Forward.
They weren't heavy metal. They were hard rock. They were, like Bon Jovi. I'd put them right parallel with Bon Jovi in that kind of,
Yes, Soda, I do. I get mistaken for Steve Souza a lot. Yeah, no, they absolutely started out. They started out as a straight up hard rock band, a lot like another band. I think they're from Scotland or maybe Wales called Heavy Pettin, who you may or may not have heard of. Heavy Pettin was actually produced by Mac Reinhold, who did all the Queen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Def Leppard and Heavy Pettin sounded a lot the same. They were originally a new wave of British heavy metal band, and then after Pyromania hit and became a thing in 1983-84, once that whole LA hair band thing happened and MTV started throwing Def Leppard in there next to Duran Duran, they got packaged as a hair band, and it's indisputable that from Hysteria Forward, they've been a hair band since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But the first couple of records, I mean, On Through the Night and Get Your Rocks, the original one,
High and Dry,
and High and Dry, those are hard rock records. Those go right next to Saxon Records and Heavy Pettin Records and Riot Records, and that whole group.
Mm-hmm.
Nuabum.
Yep.
I remember when that was a thing. I mean, that was in the 90s when everyone was writing their history of rock. The new album was right at the cusp of the 80s.
Yeah,
and I always thought it was speaking of grouping bands into different categories. When it was Def Leppard, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest were the new album, and it was
those were the big ones.
And they didn't, they were, I guess I would separate Def Leppard from those those other two, but even those other two had a very unique.
Yeah, and
sound.
Saxon is a band that gets sort of overlooked in that whole group too, because Saxon is a phenomenal band that makes really good records, real good.
And they're always attributed, any like Metallica always, would give them, but I couldn't name a Saxon song,
Yeah, of course you couldn't. No, I mean, and their only true attempt at a breakout here in the United States. This is exactly what we're talking about with Def Leppard. Is 1987, 88. Saxon does a cover of "Ride Like the Wind" from Christopher Cross.
Oh wow,
bad idea. Bad idea. If you go back, grab like Denim and Leather, or my favorite Saxon record is called "Strong Arm of the Law." And there's a great song on that called Dallas 1 p.m. about the shooting of John F. Kennedy. And it goes like 2.5 minutes into the song before Biff even sings the lyric, because it's just this sick riff that builds on top of itself. Saxon is an incredibly underrated band, an important band in that movement that doesn't get mentioned. Kind of like with Testament and Exodus, when they talk about the big four of thrash metal. Exodus and Testament get sort of, Sepultura. Those bands get Death Angel. Those bands get sort of pushed off to the side as being sort of at the second level of that. Right. Saxon is a band that used to play to stadiums, headline stadiums in Europe, but can't sell out clubs
in Europe.
Yeah.
In Japan, I know that kind of was huge out there. Scorpions, I mean that's another on the same. I mean, who would you put Scorpions on the same level as? I would say probably Def Leppard, and no,
not until 1985 though. Scorpion's been around since the 60s.
Yeah, oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So
I remember being shocked with that when they have like the branches of heavy metal long ago in some of those early books that I read, and Scorpions was in the 60s, and
Scorpions
one of those things you don't.
They have several different sort of Scorpions, almost like AC/DC and Van Halen, except for Scorpions changed with guitar players. When they added Matthias in the late 70s, early 80s, when Matthias came in and replaced Michael Schenker, who came back for a record, once Matthias came in, the sound of that band went decidedly more sugar-coated.
More pop.
Yeah.
I got to find that book that had all the branches of metal on it, and it had like, the Nawabum, and it had a whole family tree starting way back in the 60s or earlier. Then it had the hair band tree. I gotta find out what book that was. That was a
thrash metal and fun riffs references Nuclear Assault. Fantastic band. Can't find any of their music in secondhand CD stores.
My neighbor, and I had mentioned this to you, Paul, who you resemble quite a bit, from CSDO, Candy Striper Death Orgy.
Candy Striper Death Orgy, yeah.
He played with, what was you say, Nuclear Assault, right?
Nuclear Assault, yeah.
I don't know if it was Nuclear Assault or Napalm. I think it was Nuclear Assault. He played with them for like one small North American tour, but he's, it's another local band that nuclear metal kind of thing.
Yeah. Pantera was a glam metal band in the beginning. They put out 3 records with a guy named Terry Glaze, who was it went on to be the lead singer of a band called Lord Tracy, named after our friend.
Jeez,
Tracy
I wonder.
Lewis. Yeah. But yeah, the first three Pantera albums are terrible, just terrible, cheesy glam metal. Warrior Soul's a fantastic band, Kenny Dave, a band that sits in that sort of in between area with Saigon Kick and Jane's Addiction, where we didn't know if they were going to be an alternative band, if they were going to be a metal band, but Warrior Soul is more on that metal side. They're a heavier version of Jane's Addiction with way political lyrics.
Yeah, I was just listening to the Saxon Ride Like the Wind. I was just listening to it.
Just now,
yeah.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It's
terrible.
Well, it's too much like the actual song. It just sounds like the actual record just meddled up a little bit.
It's too cheesy. It's on a record called Destiny.
What year did they release that?
88.
Okay.
88. So it was about 9 years after Christopher Cross's version.
Yeah, but it was clearly it was a blatant attempt to get on American radio. Because if you go back and listen to some of the early Saxon stuff, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, Johnny, it's way more riffy, more AC/DC, more bar band, Rose Tattoo. It's the soundtrack to a good bar fight. Accept is another band that doesn't get.
We're getting all these bands. Everyone's chiming in. Accept, Machine Head.
It's funny. All of a sudden, this has become your Wednesday
Annihilator.
night show, Mancuda.
Yeah, yeah. He's at what is it? What convention is that today in LA?
I don't know.
What con is that?
It's not Comic-Con. It's not
Is it like a video
EVH
game
Con.
I was actually watching a video of it earlier. Let me look.
Brett McCord says AC/DC and Def Leppard have Mutt Lange in common. And someone earlier said early Def Leppard with Pete resembled AC/DC. It was definitely a much more raw Def Leppard when Pete was in the band.
No, I mean let's face it. The sweet spot with Def Leppard was when Steve Clark was in the band. I mean, and I'm not saying that they're better or worse, but that's when they wrote their hits.
Was it 3 albums with Steve Clark?
Yeah, and that's when they wrote their hits. That was the big that was the fruitful period with those guys.
Were they all Mutt? No, because Mutt.
No, Mutt left and came back.
He left and came back with his Hysteria.
Yeah, he left and came back. But Mutt Lange is a hitmaker, man. He not only is he a hitmaker, maybe the greatest moment of Mutt Lange's career was marrying Shania Twain and then cheating on her.
Oh man,
the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing, dipshit?
Well, some of her songs, you listen to them, and you could replace her vocal with Joe Elliott, and it would be a Def Leppard song.
Wow.
Well, no, I mean, look, producers have a sound. I mean, I was just talking about this with a buddy of mine in LA, who's really a punk guy. And we were talking about the Cars, and the Cars were produced by Roy Thomas Baker. Go back and listen to those first couple of Cars records. Listen to the background vocals. They're Queen. You know, producers have a certain stamp with them. There was a guy named Beau Hill that produced most of the Rat stuff. He also produced the big successful Kix records. If you go and listen to Midnight Dynamite and Blow My Fuse from Kix, they sound like Rat records because he's got sort of a thing. Spencer Proffer, who produced the first couple of successful Quiet Riot records, not the ones with Randy Rhoads on them that sucked, but the ones that were popular here in the United States. Metal Health and Condition Critical are Spencer Proffer records. Then go back and listen to a band called Kick-Axe. They sound exactly the same. So certain producers have a stamp. They have a thing. That's why Bob Rock is the guy that everybody wanted since Motley Crue and the Black Album and Sonic Temple, all those big records that sound so huge at the end of the 80s and early 90s. A producer who has that kind of a stamp is very valuable. So talking about Mutt Lange, it's not a coincidence that AC/DC did well with Mutt Lange, Def Leppard did well with Mutt Lange, Foreigner did well with Mutt Lange, Ted Templeman produced those Montrose records, the Van Halen record, and that first Bullet Boys record that sounds so good. You know. You get a good producer. A producer can make or break a band. Jack Douglas did it with Aerosmith.
Yeah, you go back to Glenn Johns and Eddie Kramer and those guys.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
That's what it takes. People don't, I mean, I didn't even realize, the role of a producer until, researching music history and, somebody like, Quincy Jones and, what he did behind the scenes, or a Mutt Lange or somebody like that, what they did behind the scenes. And, they are the extra member. Yeah. The extra member of the band, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. The record wouldn't sound the way it does without that producer, that particular one. Mm-hmm. Interchange any of it, and you get a different sound.
Yeah, but there, a producer can a band that is raw. I mean, look, we've talked about this before too. You've got to have the it. There's got to be something there to begin with, or you've got to have outside songwriters come in, and a producer can come in that can mold the band into something special. Mm-hmm. And look what Billy Squier had. He was in a band called Piper. Those records are okay sounding, but once you put Reinhold Mack behind the desk, all of a sudden you got Don't Say No and Emotions in Motion and that big drum sound that Bobby Chenard, brought to the Billy Squier sound. Billy Squier doesn't become a thing without a good producer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He had some good songs, but that sound.
That was a Zeppelin sound. I mean, his especially the drums were very Bonham, just big, huge.
Yeah, Bobby Chenard was the name of the drummer, and he definitely had a heavy right foot. Yeah, there's another guy, Bob Ezrin, is another guy who, a lot of those guys. There's about a dozen of them that when somebody says, "Okay, this record might be good," get X on the phone. But when you get X on the phone, they want to be paid too.
Yeah, Rick Rubin, another one. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of Billy Squier, let's talk about what's the video? What's the music video?
Rock Me Tonight.
Rock Me Tonight. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about that whole thing?
Well, I think it was Billy Squier was a thing before. That's another bad decision. It was a bad decision. A lot of people give him a hard time because of the way he was dressed in that video. Let's talk about the dancing. As soon as you hold your fist like that, you're out. He's in there. He's dancing like a cheerleader. The leg warmers and the off the sleeve flash dance sweatshirt. Yeah, that didn't help. Didn't help Billy.
Now I got to look it up. I won't play it, but I got to look it up.
Soda asked if Rose Tattoo singer, Angry Anderson is his name, by the way, should be the singer for AC/DC, not Axl. No, Brian Johnson's back in AC/DC. So, no, I want Brian. And if it can't be Brian, it should be Mark Storace from Crocus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so he's back? He's back in AC/DC now?
Yeah.
So Axl Rose is out?
Well, Axl Rose was never a full-time member. He was just, filling in.
Touring? They didn't record anything with him. Or release anything anyway.
Yeah, they didn't release anything, no.
Yeah, it's a band I saw, certainly in their prime on Razor's Edge. It was like one of my first big concerts, and I don't think I'd want to see them nowadays. And even then, it was kind of a resurgence, in the early 90s. AC/DC had gone through several albums where they were, didn't have a lot of hits or blow up your video, and
they're good records.
Fly, yeah, a lot of those. But they're absolutely great records. Yeah.
Yeah, Fly on the Wall was the beginning of sort of the end for them. Not the end, but a lull for them.
Maximum Overdrive was one of the low points.
That was they were just milking it at that point. Well, it was great because Fly on the Wall was another example of, this is 1985, and at that point the hair band thing starts. So you get bands like Judas Priest releasing Turbo, and you get Aerosmith starting to be a little bit more glammy. And AC/DC tried to do the same thing. Angus's hair is a little bit longer. They get the videos with the cute cartoon fly, and AC/DC is not that,
right.
And so that didn't do well. And then Blow Up Your Video didn't do all that great, even though they had Arnold in the video for Heat Seeker dressed up as Angus, which was hilarious, by the way. But those records are actually better. Go back and listen to those 1985 to 1990 records, the Fly on the Wall and
I used to have them all on cassette. I don't, and those are all gone now.
I have them. I have the AC/DC catalog twice.
Yeah,
everything AC/DC's ever released. I've got the big box set with the amplifier. I love AC/DC.
Did you see them in on the Razor's Edge tour?
Yeah,
at Worcester.
Either Worcester or the Garden.
It was the opening night of the tour, November 2nd, I believe.
No, didn't see that one.
So it must maybe when they came back around, they played the Garden or something. That was just a crazy show, amazing show.
I say Van Halen is my favorite band, but I find myself listening more to AC/DC these days. There's something about AC/DC. I have an Aussie rock fetish though. I like AC/DC and Rose Tattoo and the Angels.
I think right after I discovered Van Halen, AC/DC was like that next summer. I listened to a lot of AC/DC. And again, like I said, I bought all their cassettes and everything. And before I ever saw Van Halen, 90, I think, was the Razor's Edge tour. And that was before I'd seen Van Halen live.
Just to answer Soda, Phil Rudd, Simon Wright, Chris Slade.
Drummers.
Then Phil Rudd again, then Chris Slade again, now Phil Rudd again.
Who was the one who had the trouble?
Phil Rudd.
Okay, but he's back. Are you saying he's back in the band? Or?
Yeah, he's out of the his probation and all that shit is over with. He apparently went through rehab. I mean, he was doing meth and stuff like that and threatening to kill people.
Yeah, wasn't he like in a big trial, like a murder trial or something? Or
yeah, it was a conspiracy to kill somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, he was involved in a conspiracy for murder.
Let's get him back in the band.
Yeah, why not? What, you know what? I'm okay with that. Look, he didn't do it. Innocent. Get him back behind the kit. Put a butt in his mouth. Play 4-4. I'm in.
Yeah.
The question about this would be a question for you, Johnny Beane, because I don't have anything good to say about it. Anybody asked if we like EMG pickups?
I like the passive ones. You know, the ones that aren't active.
Yeah, I have those. The HZ4s. I have those in a Zakk Wylde Les Paul.
Mm-hmm. I've never. Yeah, the only guitar I've ever had an active pickup in is the Kramer Ripley. But that's not a EMZ. That's a Bartolini. But hey, there's people that really dig that style and that sound. Myself, I'd rather have a passive pickup.
Are all EMGs active or not?
No, they're not all active.
No, they aren't all, but they're mostly known for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to my ears, they tend to be always overdriven. Like there's not a whole lot of dynamics with them. To me, they're real good if you want to lay into them, but if you want to lay back and get a little dynamics, little bluesy stuff like that, try and get the natural tone out of the guitar. To my ears, and I'm
well. That's what I think of EMGs as metal. I mean, very
right.
I think of the rectangular black pickup, with a little EMG on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not I mean, I've got them in a Zakk Wylde Les Paul, but only because they're in a Zakk Wylde Les Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, myself, I definitely don't know my pickups well enough. I mean, I know the brands, but I don't know as to the extent of to Johnny and Jay and you guys.
Yeah, those guys would be better on that question. To me, I subscribe to the Eddie Van Halen. If it sounds good, it is good. So if I plug the guitar in and that pickup sounds good,
yeah,
under the right conditions,
Yeah, I always wondered why people, they buy and I'm a big fan of Les Paul guitars. People buy Les Pauls and they love those guitars, and then they buy them, they plug them in, they play them in the store. The tone sounds great, it sounds fantastic, and then they rip the pickups out and put their own pickups in them immediately. I'm like, well, then why did you buy that guitar? Right. Why didn't you just have something made for you that has the pickups you wanted in it? And like, if it sounded good in the store, then why doesn't it sound good when you bring it home?
Right. Keep that guitar as a unique instrument that sounds like that. That's the way I kind of think of it. If you're as long as you can get it set up properly and the electronic sound, noise free, then each guitar has each pickup has its unique sound, and then add a guitar to it, and it's another layer.
Yeah, to me, you're buying if you buying a guitar off the rack and you like the way that guitar sounds, then that's what you paid for. It was for that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to build one to spec, then there
down the line, if you've had it for 10 years and you need a change, then you can throw some different pickups in there, or the pickups are getting weaker or something.
Yep. Booty, yes, it is a lead 12 mini stack behind me. I prefer the lead 12 over the MG15. I think the MG15 is weaker, but yes, that's what that is.
Paul, have you or Johnny? I know it's a couple weeks now, but on PBS they did the whole series of country music. Ken Burns,
right?
Any of you guys see any of that? John, I don't know if Johnny can hear, but
no, I'm still here. So
I've slowly been watching that myself.
I don't have TV.
Okay. It's well, I mean, it's PBS, so it's you can. But it's
so it's not really TV.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it online. But
I'm not a
huge country fan. I'm not
Yeah.
at all, and I was kind of skeptical going into it. But it's a great lesson on music history, and it goes into rock history and everything as well.
Who actually goes to the PBS website? Anybody?
I've been there.
People that wanna get a free canvas bag for their donation.
Well, I
yeah.
don't contribute. No, I don't contribute. I don't contribute to it. But
And they still send you a VHS tape.
Yes. VHS.
Yeah, for $500.
And a mug.
A VHS tape.
And a mug.
You talk about being hooked into a documentary that you weren't planning on being hooked into. That happened to me with two recently. Obviously, the history of the Eagles.
Great.
I'm on board with
comprehensive.
I'm on board with the dude. I hate the fucking Eagles, but watching that documentary was awesome, and they are arguably one of the two greatest American rock bands of all time. And
Tom Petty,
Aerosmith.
Oh, okay. What documentary did Aerosmith have?
No. I'm just saying. No, I didn't watch the Tom. Oh, the second one, the Tom Petty one. No,
I just wanted. You said two documentaries. I thought.
Yeah, the second one was Eric Clapton.
Okay.
The most recent Eric Clapton one.
Yeah.
I also don't like Eric Clapton, and that was, I think it was on Showtime.
Yeah, I have it in the other room.
It was 14 days or something like that, or 17 days, or I don't remember what it's called.
Trying to think of it. Yeah.
But it really, really, really good.
12 bars or something. Behind 12 bars.
Like that,
Beyond 12 bars. Mm-hmm.
Something like that. But really good. So, that having been said, maybe I'll take a look at the country thing. I actually like bluegrass stuff and like that old country stuff.
Oh, that's where it starts. And the first at least 3 episodes are pre-war and a lot of the earliest stuff.
Yeah, but when you get to like Sawyer Brown and Alabama,
oh yeah, I know,
and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah,
I'm out.
I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still in like the 63, I think, is where the last episode ended.
Yeah, I love me some Chet Atkins,
Atkins,
and Roy Clark and stuff like that. I'm good with that. But
the first
Hank Senior
4 episodes are all that stuff. They don't. I mean, there's a couple of, like Dolly Parton gives her like interviews and stuff, but it's all the earliest stuff. Yeah, Roy Clark and Hank Williams. Great. And Ken Burns. I love Ken Burns. Anything he does.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna have to plan some time.
Oh yeah, it's hours.
Ken Burns.
And hours.
It's always long. If you think Oliver Stone movies are long, you haven't seen a Ken Burns documentary. Renus Pinkel asks, why did everyone dislike Ginger Baker? Because Ginger Baker was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's why. He was just he ruffled
an angry man.
Feathers.
Yeah.
He was just not a nice guy. Super talented guy, but for whatever reason, and maybe it was the drugs, because he did do a lot of drugs. He was really sort of messed up, but he left a bad impression. And I think that his legend preceded him. I think people didn't like him before meeting him, because people went, "Oh, Ginger Baker's an asshole."
Yeah, he was the antithesis of Keith Moon.
Yes, everybody loved Keith Moon, even though he was an asshole.
Yeah,
Keith Moon was an endearing asshole. He was the kind of it's just.
And John
Keith.
Bonham was right in the middle.
Yes, depending on what stage of alcoholism he was in at the time. If John Bonham was happy drunk, he was happy drunk. But he was a great example of, as one beer he's happy, the next beer, oh
yeah, Bonzo.
Yeah. Outlaw country is an interesting thing, Kenny Dave. That's just Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Outlaw country is just Skinner, and I love Skinner. But that's all it is.
Country rock. I mean, you could put Creedence in there, like you said, the Eagles, a lot of those, Southern, even like Neil Young and stuff,
Yeah, it's interesting because I love Skinner, but I don't like the Allman Brothers, and they're very similar.
Allman Brothers, yeah.
And that's super different. Skinner is more of a hard rock, bluesy country thing, like shit-kicking music.
Mm-hmm.
And the Allman Brothers is it's jam band.
Yeah.
They would go in and go off for forever. I think the Allman Brothers were a little more country than Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
I think Skinner had a little bit more sass, a little more filth in them. And the Allman Brothers were a little bit more virtuoso. I think the Allman Brothers took their music a little, their technical proficiency a little bit more
kind of
seriously.
Grateful Dead-esque, you know.
Yeah.
It's Grateful Dead versus, you know, and Skinner. Yeah, I mean, they straight ahead rock, you know, with the 3 guitars, and that was the huge, you know, the mid to late 70s, you know, Boston, Eagles, all those bands with the 3 guitars.
Hey.
Which way?
Hello, everyone.
Hey, man.
Hi, Paul.
What's up, Jay?
Hi, John BL. Hi, Johnny.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
I just hurt my arm doing that.
That just happened.
I just don't do that type of stuff on the regular show. I can do, you know, it's Saturday night. Well, now it's Sammy Birthday's Hagar. Sammy Hagar's birthday.
It's Jay After Dark.
Is it the 13th is Sammy's birthday?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Sammy.
10/13,
Happy birthday, Sammy.
Right.
73?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Wait, 72 or 73?
I think he's 73.
Wow, man. That is
I don't
nuts.
know. John Biel.
Yes.
Yeah. He's on it.
I'm sure it's in the chat before I get anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Hurry, somebody.
That's because he's got that dial rocking over there.
Sammy, huh? Sammy Hagar, not Sammy, huh?
Hagar.
Sammy Ha.
Sammy Hagar.
Love
He's
him. He makes the
71.
best Scorpion Bowls.
71, so 47.
No, so he's
72 now.
then
He must
today.
be 72. I
Yeah.
wonder if
There you go.
Wikipedia goes right to the hour he was born, probably the minute he was born. It's
Hi,
also
boys.
the anniversary of Largo, 82.
Which just got posted online. I just saw that somebody posted another version of Largo.
It was on the news desk.
I think.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's not a new version. It's
another
not
version.
no, it's not a new version.
But it's just a
There's only one
Same
version,
version.
and you know, if anyone says they got a new version of it, they're lying.
yeah. Well, it's just how many generations is
Yeah, well,
video.
the best one I've seen is probably 2 or 3 generations old, but it's still a great video. You know, a treasure.
So speaking of pickups, I mean, I know I've raved about them, but
Wow.
if nobody out there has tried bare knuckle pickups, don't do it, because you're going to want to either replace the rest of your guitars with bare knuckles, or you're going to want to buy another guitar just to put another set in, because that's where I am right now.
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
Man, I want to get another set so bad, but I'm not big on like I have history with my 2. Well, I don't have one right now. It's getting a fret job done to it. Well, not a full fret job. It's a dressing. But anyway, I don't want to like replace certain guitars that I've like, you know, recorded with in the past, because it's like sentimental value type of shit. You know, like, oh, I recorded this record with this guitar, so it's kind of cool. But I'm telling you, I want to.
Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that. You recorded. You want to keep it exactly.
Well, when they put it in the hard rock, they're going to have the same original pickups.
That's right.
You know,
Exactly,
everything.
John. I mean, they're already calling, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
you guys sold." Never mind. Sorry, we got the wrong number.
No, when I donate my guitar to the Hard Rock, you know, whenever that happens,
You're not going to even. You don't put a towel to it. You don't clean it. It's just, you know.
Wait, we're talking about guitars.
Well, I guess so.
No, I'm tearing
That too-
everything
that
out of
too.
it.
You don't
I'm
wash- you
keeping
don't
all the
wash
good
in
stuff.
sink at the hotel. What?
I'm going to build them the crappiest guitar there is and give them that, you know.
Do you know why the Hard Rock does this? Does the guitar acquisition thing?
Mm-mm.
I had to learn this when I was a bouncer at the Hard Rock in Boston. So they're in England, and the cafe has a place Clapton used to drink at. So Clapton brings a guitar in and says, "Hey, hang this behind the bar." So the bartender goes, "Sure." A guy named Isaac Tigert. So they put this thing behind the bar. It's Clapton's Strat is behind the bar. Pete Townsend walks in and goes, "The fuck's guitar is that?" He goes, "It's Eric Clapton's." He goes, "How come you got one of Clapton's and not one of mine?" They go, "Bring in one of yours." And that's how it happened.
Wow. So if it
was
wasn't for
the-
Clapton,
It was Clapton.
That was how they
First
started
time?
the hard rock. Where was that the first hard rock
England.
in England?
Yeah. Yeah. Clapton brought a guitar in and hung it behind the bar, and Townsend saw it and was pissed. And some things never change. The Clapton Townsend thing has been interesting over the years.
Or the Clapton Harrison thing.
Yeah, well, that's a completely different thing.
Speaking of bare knuckles, Ben Gosling says, I hear the bare knuckle holy divers are awesome. It's funny you say that because the other guitar player in my band just ordered a bare knuckle holy diver for the bridge pickup in one of his older Ibanez guitars that still has the stock pickups in it. So he's super pumped about that. So
That's not the guitar you were showing us yesterday, was it?
no.
Which ones do you have in yours? Which bare knuckle?
In the bridge, I have a Ragnarok, which is like super duper high output, but I've never had a high output pickup that sounded as smooth because it has a lot of mids to it, and I can't believe how smooth they are. It sounds awesome. And then in the neck, I have an Emerald, which sounds really really good too. So
I'm starting to drool, man. I'm starting to think I got to try one of those.
yeah, man. You know, and they're cool. Like if you contact Tim, who is I think he's the owner. You know, if you kind of tell him like what kind of sound you're looking for, he'll steer you in the right direction. Because that's what we did with the other guitar player in my band, Mike. You know, he was like, "Hey, I want to get this kind of sound. Do you think they'll kind of know?" I'm like, "Dude, text me what you want to ask him about your sound. What do you want?" And I'll ask him. And within 5 minutes, Tim responded to me with,
So what do you think they do for? I mean, obviously, the pickups are all the same basic design, but is it more windings? Is it different metals? Is it?
I heard something from somebody who is a dealer, and I don't know if it's common knowledge, so I don't want to tell this information on here.
Trade secret?
Was it a guitar dealer or what kind of dealer?
I don't know.
Oh, it was selling pickup trucks.
But I guess the magnets that they use in their pickups is some like super rare magnets that like nobody else has.
Like reverse magnets.
I don't know. I heard where they get them from.
Well, that was like the P90s. They had
Double secret
Alnicos or.
It's like when you take the magnets and you try to put them together and you can't.
Yeah,
that's the way they make their pickups.
Yeah, they force them together.
They can't use a metal pick. I can't pick my guitar. I can't play. It's pushing my hand away. Or it's the opposite.
Those are the pickups I have.
Or it sucks.
Yeah, it pulls it towards, and you can't.
You can't play it. What's that guy doing?
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't it be great if a company did they called it the reverse polarity pickup? People are like, not a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be kind of where you get like the out of phase and all that stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like just the worst, Well,
that's what they do. They reverse. That's what humbuckers are. It's pickups that are set up sideways to create that magnetic field.
Right.
And then
when you flip the zebra, like a lot of people will flip their zebras, so it's kind of the same thing. One way is in phase and one way is out, so you're doing basically, putting those two magnets that don't attract together.
So yeah, but I don't know if it's like common knowledge where they get their magnets from, but I guess like their magnets are better than any other pickup companies, supposedly. I mean, this is just what I'm told. Actually, I'm going to ask Tim and see what he says.
Which is always funny because everybody talks about the PAF pickups and all these old desirable pickups from back in the day. Those things are now 50 years old, 60 years old in some cases, and those magnets have weakened and sort of seasoned in like any other, when you talk about nitrocellulose finishes and all that stuff. They've now aged and gotten to a point where everybody loves them. And now you're talking about these new pickups with these brand new strong magnets. It's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You have to pick your poison. Which one do you want?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Look who that is.
Caleb.
What's happening? Can you hear me?
Nerd Halen is in the house. Yeah.
You're actually loud tonight. Usually it's the exact opposite.
Oh, well, I had to dig up some old school.
Did you get a
earbud.
haircut?
I get a haircut every.
You know, he was just going to ask you the same thing, John.
Yeah, last week I shaved it.
Thank you.
Oh, did you just throw me through your beer like Michael Anthony?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. I found some.
Hey, we're live here.
Sorry.
We think this is taped.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Johnny, just edit that out. Don't mind him. Don't mind him.
Fix it in the mix.
So, what I missed?
Did you hear us talking about bare knuckles?
I did.
I don't know if that story is common knowledge, so I didn't want to divulge.
I'm gonna ask somebody if I can talk about it. So
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Breaking news.
Do you use bare knuckles, Caleb?
I have my first bare knuckle. Yes,
Which model?
it's the aftermath. A name that comes up on this show frequently and in the EVH circles, and the guy who actually painted the Space Wolf, Mr. Craig Stoffco.
He's a big fan of those pickups.
He well, duh. And if you've seen my text thread with him, you'd be like, oh my God. The day he tried them, it was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he's just like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God, dude. Bare knuckle. Bro. Bare knuckle. Bro. Bare knuckle, bro. Bare knuckle. And he just pushed it on me. So I was like, fine, just, get me one and we'll put it in, because he knew that the bridge pickup in the Space Wolf I was having some issues with. I thought it was kind of dead. And so I was looking to replace it, and I was shopping around and looking around and didn't know what I was going to do. And then he had this thing where he went to a friend's house and tried a guitar with a bare knuckle pickup in it, and obviously changed his life. And
now he's trying to change everybody else's life.
Oh no. So yeah.
What I liked about Craig is he's very subtle in his suggestions.
Oh,
Right.
very subtle.
You
Very
noticed?
subtle.
I set my guitar up to be painted, and he gutted the whole thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking maybe I can do this with it, and I'm going to do this." And then, like, it was all done, and he was ready to send it back. He goes, "All right, I came up with a new chalk finish. Can I redo your guitar?" I don't give a shit. You didn't send it back to me. Have at it. 4 weeks later, all right, it's perfect. I'm sending it back. So he sends it back to me, and he goes, "I'm really not happy with the way that the eyelid on the upper bout is. If you send it back, I'll fix it." No, it's good. We're done.
That's somebody who takes pride in their work, definitely.
Oh, no, he's great. No, he's great, but he's very subtle about it.
Yeah. Not at
It's
all.
going to be great if you do it better. Yeah, of course it is.
He's
Trust him.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I have no complaints whatsoever. I just love it. He's like we are when we find a guitar that we want, and you go, I don't really want it. And then 12 hours later, you buy it.
Yeah, because he's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I tried it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's all you can think about in bed.
A music man.
Either I'm going to buy the guitar, or I'm not going to sleep for 3 weeks thinking about the guitar. So I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've done that. No, I'm not going to buy it. Like Friday, I see a guitar, and like, I'm not going to buy it. By Monday, I'm like, purchase. I don't need it.
How many guitars in the last week or 3 weeks?
Not well in the last month, 3.
Wow.
It's
All
like
Ernie Balls?
Nesdall.
All Ernie balls, yeah.
So how many Ernie balls total?
If you count the Axis, 6.
So 5
The
EVH?
Axis is 5 EVHs, and the Axis is actually for sale, but I probably won't sell it.
The Axis is just as good.
I know it is.
Can't even
The
tell.
Axis is only up for sale because one of my EVHs is kind of a player, so I figure I can sell the
Hey,
Axis
player.
to offset the money.
Yo, he was a player.
Leia. Yeah. So, no, the guitar sounds amazing. So
It looked great too. I saw the pictures and stuff from the gig the other night.
Well, I think, ever since we came up with the idea for the paint job, we were excited to see what it would look like on stage. So finally last night it got its opportunity, and
Didn't disappoint.
it didn't. No, it's
Did you play it through the whole show, or which songs did you play it on?
I played it on the standard songs, so that was, I think, 4 songs, 4 of the 12 that we did. So
Nice.
did I'll Wait.
Let's hear the set list.
Oh, the set list. Okay.
John BL.
Is it on Setlist FM yet?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I can't believe you're asking for the set list. You should have it all printed out already.
That would
By
be
the way,
crazy.
but going back to what we were saying about Craig, you
Mhm.
guys did the Space Wolf and with the the flake paint and stuff like that. Have you been seeing the past 72 hours? Craig has been posting different flakes. He's like, I've got another one. I've got translucent flake. Like you've opened up a huge can of worms. That's going to be his next thing.
Oh yeah, no, I think he's getting calls based on the Space Wolf. So there's a lot. It's driving some business for him, and that's hopefully that's what I wanted, because
Of course,
Sure.
yeah.
it's I mean, the guy is doing some art. Even the chalk finishes are ridiculous.
It's amazing the people in this community. This, from him to the different.
Today, Junior.
Let's think of now I can't even think of anybody.
That was well
Guitar
said.
wannabe and
Seemed like you were going to come out with anything anyway.
I was gonna,
He is guitar wannabe. That's him.
that's what I'm saying. And who else? Now I can't even think of it. The one that does the
It's 12:30
the
in the
Floyd
morning
Road.
for him, or 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
The,
It's early.
FU Tone. Thank you. FU Tone and the other people who enjoy this show on a weekly basis and chime in and have great talents. Let's just leave it at that, I guess. Because I can't think of everybody.
So set list.
I thought I was going somewhere with that, but no. Set list.
Okay, we did have a change on the fly, because one of the songs is basically more of a bit song than it is a song, and that would be, we were going to do Right Now, but that's because Hal has a bunch of cards that he holds up during the show or during the song that are kind of like the video, like right now this, right now that, and they're a bunch of jokes. So the show's at 9 and I get a text at 7:30, and he's like, "Oh, all the Right Now cards are destroyed," or whatever, or something like. And I'm like,
Well, you have 2 hours to go to the store.
no, he still had to get to where we were. So-
Right now, Hal is at Kinko's.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah,
So he-
right now you should be in your car on the way.
So he gets there and we decided to clip the song. So we had to put another song in that we knew already, and that turned out to be Pretty Woman, which is in E flat. So that I lost one of the songs for the Space Wolf in that situation. So, but the set list went as follows: Unchained, Everybody Wants Some, Running with the Devil, making its debut, Nerd Halen debut, Somebody Get Me a Doctor.
Oh yeah,
Which I've never played with a band before until rehearsal on Tuesday night, and it was killer song, and then we did Dance the Night Away, and we did this funny thing. This my night job, they play music, and I hear this song every night. You know how you work someplace and there's just the same music plays all the time, so you hear the same song.
Yes, I do.
And so I hear You Make Me Feel Like Dancing all the time, right? And in that song it goes, you make me feel like dancing, gonna dance the night away. And I'm like, So right after the tapping part in Dance the Night Away, we decided to go into that song. And turns out great. And we get the crowd singing, Dance the Night Away, dancing. And it was working really well. And Well, and then the transition would be right back into Dance the Night Away. So that's going to stay in the set, I believe. And then we finish that, and then we go back into Dance the Night Away, and then we finish, and then it's like, are you guys done dancing? And then we do like 2 minutes of dancing in the streets.
Oh, nice.
It's a bunch of dancing, but then we do I'll Wait. So I switched the guitars here to I'll Wait, Best of Both Worlds, Hot for Teacher, and Jump.
So you got a Sammy song in the set list. Wait, how did nobody just be like, what? Wait a minute.
We're supposed to have two. We're supposed to have two. So because Right Now is in there, and we paid money for the fucking track, so we might as well play it. So
do you have a keyboard track behind it?
Yeah, of course.
Nice. Yeah, you got to do that. That's cool.
Which is a disaster, by the way, and it's been a disaster because we played Right Now in our first set that we ever played back in May, and it wasn't coming through the monitors.
Oh no! How'd that sound?
Like fucking shit. And
take the keyboards out of a keyboard song, and you tell me how it sounded.
Well, no, you take like Where the Fuck Are We in the song part out of Where the Fuck Are We, and tell me how it sounds.
Do you have a backing track for Jump?
Of course.
Well, yeah, I'm just, well, I'm just wondering, obviously, a lot of bands are just going to cheat, and, so when you say you paid for the backing track, how does that work?
He called Ed, I need you to.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Ed, could you bust this off for me? No, my drummer, he's in a couple other Van Halen cover bands, and I guess he knows a guy, and so he knows a guy who basically recorded the whole track for us, and it has like a click for him through his ear, through his headphones or whatever he's using, and that no one hears but him, and so he starts it on. He has a trigger pad at his kit, and he starts the songs, and he has like the intro to Running with the Devil, the horn, and he has Jump.
You know what you should replace that with?
What?
I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, what is something pumping into this room? Am I getting high or something? You should replace that with, like, have the horn come in, and then like the Revenge of the Nerds laugh.
Oh my god!
How about like a bunch of like really weak horns? Like
clown horns.
Yeah. Totally.
By the way, I was thinking maybe you could just save yourself some money and use the Jump karaoke version.
Yeah.
From the Mini Best.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
just that an official
keyboards?
Yeah.
Wow.
What? It's the backing tracks.
But it's drums and everything.
Is that a Japanese single?
It's an EP. It's Top of the World, and then it's got 2 karaoke versions, which is because I don't have a band. If I want to do any vocals and stuff like that, I'll use that.
Wow. That's an official release, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Japanese
released in Japan. That's
I had that. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically the songs without the lead vocals. It's everything else, but it has the background vocals as well. And the Top of the World version, you actually hear like more guitar or something. There's some weird mix going on where you actually hear more of maybe and Jump as well. The guitar at the end of Jump on the regular song, it does the Top of the World. On that version of it, there's actually more of it there.
Yeah, the fade out is longer.
Yeah.
What version of is this? The 84 version of Jump on that?
Yeah.
So the 84 version of Jump and the 91 version of Top of the World.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they'd have those on this. I mean, because was that released around the time of Right Here, Right Now?
The Best of Volume 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
1996.
Okay, so they picked one from each era.
Because I mean, if you think about it, they for Right Here, Right Now, they basically re-recorded the song, in the studio from the live. I mean, because they didn't use the real live version. Everybody came back in and did their tracks, or a couple people did anyway. So,
Caleb, where do you get the keyboard tracks from? Do you have to have a studio guy play them, or do you have to license them?
No, my drummer knows a guy, and he records tracks.
So, all right, so so it's basically you license it from a studio musician then.
Yeah, I just paid him,
Right.
$100. He sent a track over, and and he already had the jump track, so we didn't have to pay for that. So, and he already had the I'll Wait track, so didn't have to pay for that.
You didn't have to wait for it either.
No, but last night, guess what? We sound checked with I'll Wait. We were lucky to get a sound check because we were promised not to get a sound check. So that's always scary. And I kept stressing to the sound guy, I need to hear keyboards in my monitors or we're going to have problems.
Yeah, we're going to have problems on stage, and then we're going to have problems after.
Yeah, we're going to have problems. I'm going to send Craig over. So,
Bro.
So
Ever have your ass kicked by a nerd?
yeah, well, what happened was that during, the sound check sounded great, and then, no one factors in, oh, it's really loud when a lot of people are in there.
It's going to sound different when the room's full.
And it's really loud when your singer is singing over it.
Yeah.
So when we played I'll Wait, fucking got lost. Painful. And there's no like fixing it. No.
It's not like your drummer screws up, loses the beat for a split second. Everybody turns around and everybody catches back.
I can look at the keyboard player and go,
yeah.
When
you're playing to a tape, like one person gets screwed up.
It's the Ashley Simpson problem there.
Yeah. Ashley, she's just started.
So you don't have your own sound guy then, Caleb?
Oh, dude, we don't have anybody. Yeah. It's all fake.
What do you play for that? Do you play the 2007 live version that Eddie played on that for I'll Wait?
You mean the guitar part?
Yeah, because there's no guitar in the actual song.
Oh no, yeah, I had my own guitar part, which is basically I use the D tuner, go down to D because the song's in D, and I go I just do sustain chord. I go.
Oh, so you're playing along with the keyboard.
Yeah, but I'm adding a lot of balls to it. It's very, very ballsy. And then I during the verses, I'm just going. So, pretty simple.
That's cool.
Cool, no, but there's no video of that though.
There might be, but I'm not going to release a full video because we fucked it up. So, but the solo came off good. I mean, that's one of my favorite solos. So,
yeah.
It's really, and it's Hal's favorite all-time song. So, his favorite Van Halen song. So it's like it has to be there. If we do more than 45 minutes, he's like, that song has to be in the set. So we did an hour. So did I finish? I said, okay, so jump, and then I did a guitar solo last night. It's the first time I've done a guitar solo in a set. Because we had a longer time.
Did they have to mop the floor after that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Thanks, Jay. And then we did Panama and Ain't Talking About Love. So that's the closer.
Nice. I figured they'd have to stop the show during the solo because just, all the girls dehydrated in the crowd. Everybody's slipping.
Oh my
what
God.
The heck?
No, but you know what a great secret is to sticky neck syndrome is this shit works. Just letting you know.
What is it?
It's baby powder.
Wow.
It looks like cocaine. So
Pete Townsend. Yeah, Pete Townsend was famous for that.
You should go to a pool store and get one of the little, the things for the pool cue.
Mm-hmm.
And just rub it on the back of the neck, man. Get the blue or green, Start a new trend, having all the guitar players start to do that,
Chalk it up. Chalk up your cue.
Or put it on one of those the chalk on the disc cleaner, like the vinyl cleaner, the little wooden things. One of these things. Powder it all up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Powder it all up on that, and then you just between songs you can sort of just coat the neck.
Well, it's funny because I had my guitar stand on the stage with my 3 guitars on it, and I went to do a line check like a half an hour before we went on, because between sound check and us going on was 3 hours, so I shut everything off, and then I turn it back on like a half an hour before going on, and I do a little line check, and I go over to each of the necks, and they're sitting in a rack, and I just dump this on each neck, and then I'm like, all right, I'll just move it around when I get to it. So I pick up the one guitar, and I pick it up, and it's just covered with powder in one spot, and I'm just like, it's just way too slippery, like it's comical, but I'm looking forward to having a tech. I'm just putting it out there.
I noticed that in the video, you've got your rack is basically behind the drum kit, so you can just walk over, swap out on your own.
Well, that was a weird stage because we opened for the Dan Band, which is the band from they're in like Old School and Hangover, and they're a very funny band. They do covers.
Oh, yeah.
They do funny versions of them.
Danfinity?
Yeah. And they're hilarious, and they do a great show. But the center riser is where they put up a tall sheet and do a light effect where they're behind it, and then they drop that, and that's how they come out on stage. And then all their gags and props for the show is on that thing, and the drummer's off stage left. So when we got our email last week about the show, your drummer is going to be stage left. Thank you. So
hope that works.
So yeah, that's why I put my guitars on the side of that riser in the middle, because I was just sitting there with space. And but yeah,
John Fishman.
It was is that his name?
I don't know, Fishman from Fish. He was always stage left drummer.
Oh, okay. Random.
Oh, you're talking about stage left drummer. It's not.
No.
It's usually center
That's how
stage
Night
drummer.
Ranger does it.
Yeah, no, I was like, when I told Jeff
Toto,
I said you're pulling a Kelly Keegi for this gig.
Yeah,
and he knew exactly what I meant. So, except he wasn't sideways. Kelly Keegi's sideways.
Yeah, he's sideways so you can see him.
Let's see it. Left stage left drummers. Who can come up with a list?
And Kelly Keegi, he's like the same level of everybody else. Like you got Jack, and then Jeff back in the day, Brad, and then Kelly. They're all like right in front. Just the only band that has the drums right in the front.
Imagine the night at rehearsal when he actually said to the band, "No, I'm going to be up next to you guys."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go sideways so they can see, because no one can see me.
When did that?
Now imagine that on a club stage.
Right. And like they had to go, okay, Kelly. Yeah. And then he's doing the side thing, like.
Was it always like that, or was it after Sister Christian is when that started?
Well, wasn't that always then? Because that was their first.
No, that was on their second record.
Who remembers the first? I mean,
what?
If nobody remembers it, did it happen?
Don't Tell Me You Love Me is on the first one.
Really?
Don't Tell Me You Love Me is their biggest tune.
The same record.
No.
No, Sister Christian's bigger than
Sister Christian is their biggest.
Yeah, I would say so.
Come on, dude.
No. Sister Christian was the bigger hit, but Don't Tell Me You Love Me is the one everybody remembers. When you hear it like it was a rock song.
The first one, and then the second one was Sister Christian.
First one was Don't Tell Me You Love Me.
Right.
Second one was You Can Still Rock in America, then Sister Christian. And Sister Christian was the one that blew up because of the power ballad thing. But Don't Tell Me You Love Me came first.
Oh, I know. I know which came first, but they're all on the same record.
No, they're not.
You sure?
You want me to go grab them?
Yeah.
So Don't Tell Me You Love Me was 83.
Madness.
Don't Tell Me You Love Me.
83.
Don't Tell Me You Love Me is on Dawn Patrol.
John Biel.
83 Dawn Patrol. You can still rock in America. 83.
They thank Sammy Hagar on the back of that record.
Midnight Madness. Sister Christian is 84.
Oh, Sister Christian's 84. Okay.
Probably it must have been from Midnight Madness.
Sit down, Paul. All right.
And then
okay.
There you go.
That night she farts. Eddie's coming on you tonight.
All right. Pulling that phone back. I'm just kidding. All right.
You know, I was picturing when you said drummer stage left, like setting up facing the crowd and having like the drum, you know, the bass drum hole, the port.
Mm-hmm.
Every time like the kick drum gets hit, you know, the mullets in the front are just boof. Boof, 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 boof.
There's got to be video of that somewhere.
So I'm at a Raiders game in the early 2000s, and there's a band playing the tailgate, and I hear the intro to "Don't Tell Me You Love Me," you know, the guitar riff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I turn to look, and damned if it's not fucking Brad Gillis playing with like a cover band at a Raiders tailgate.
Wow.
Oh,
for the fun of it. Just showed up. He showed up to be the band. Obviously, got paid to do the gig. They probably got tickets to the show. To the football game, but right there in the parking lot is. I'm like, holy shit! They didn't play the whole song, but he just played it. It was almost like he played it to go, "Hi, guess who I am?"
Yeah,
I bet you.
And he was like, "Oh, screw it, I ain't playing."
I bet you he had his red Strat because like I've never seen the guy without that guitar.
Right? Yeah. His hair was really short and everything like that. Like it didn't look like him at all.
Yeah.
He does that all the time. Actually, there's another Van Halen tribute called "Hot for Teacher."
Mm-hmm.
They're from the Bay Area here, but they actually play the NAMM show every year, or they used to.
Mm-hmm.
They went there last year. They almost there. You go. Every year they play. Is it the Hilton? Whatever hotel that is.
Yeah,
but a lot of years, Brad Gillis gets up and plays with them.
Cool.
Plays a couple songs or whatever. He's great friends with those guys.
Yeah, I saw Night Ranger at Day on the Green, 1983.
Awesome.
Wow. Oakland.
Yeah, that was my second like stadium show, all GA.
Who else was at that show? 83 Oakland. So
that was a great bill. That was Night Ranger first.
Triumph.
Yeah, let me finish.
I'm just guessing. You know.
Night Ranger, then Bryan Adams, Eddie Money, Triumph, John, and Journey was the closer. Bay Area. So yeah, no, it was a great show.
I saw Night Ranger last summer at a minor league baseball stadium.
Wow. Oh, I remember why my wife and I used to watch the Bachelor like religiously, and Night Ranger came on a Bachelor episode because one of the things like the Bachelorette wanted people to the guys to do was duet Sister Christian with them, with Night Ranger.
Oh man!
So
what luck they were available.
Well, exactly.
So that reminds me of something, or actually brings up a funny point. Like, have you guys ever seen a video of like a band or an artist that used to be like really successful and pretty big, and then like, you know, years later you see them doing something and you're like, oh my God, I feel so bad that they're doing that. I want to go down the line here because this is I have mine.
What's a good example of that? Because I mean, I can.
All right,
I
I'll give
can't.
you my example.
Yeah,
first.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of a good example.
So, Jeannie and I, this is probably about 7 years ago or whatever.
There's Dolls here, by the way.
Is he? We were looking up.
Hey man,
we were watching like Kip Winger videos, you know, like his solo act. Because I saw him back in like 2007 or 8 in the loft in Poughkeepsie, New York. Just acoustic, you know, there was maybe 15 people there, but it was awesome. But anyway, I saw a video of him playing acoustic guitar at some ski lodge in like Colorado on YouTube. This video is probably still up, and nobody gave a shit. It was like people were just having conversations walking past him, and he's just standing there with his I'm like, oh my God, you know, this guy was, you know, a rock star back in the late 80s, man. Early 90s, and it's like, man, you know, I felt bad. It's like, that sucks.
Yep.
Well, it's when you hear your favorite band song in a car commercial or something, or or Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, but it was pretty kick-ass to see that.
Well, at that time, I mean, that's a bad
eye.
example because that was really.
I thought it was corny, but anyway, go ahead.
How about a couple of years ago, seeing the Hellion, hearing the Hellion and Electric Eye in that minivan commercial? That was kind of neat.
Oh my god!
Yeah, guy drops his milk. What's yours, Caleb?
Oh, well, I thought the Who really hurt when the Who just was on everything. I mean,
Eminence Front, and before that, it was what was it? There was a couple of them that the Who, a couple of the Who's Next songs that they put into commercials, I think.
Yeah, Who's all over that CSI show. No,
I'm talking about that.
Jay's talking about something totally different.
No, you're talking about like who have you seen that you're like, wow, ouch.
Well, it's like going to a state fair and you see, one member of a band that was huge and they're still carrying the torch.
The place we played last night, it's called St. Rock in Hermosa Beach. And it's just a weird room because it's kind of sideways. It's not long ways, and like most of the bar you can't see the stage. It's the end that can see the stage, and then there's tables off to this house right to your left when you're looking out. The stage is very not deep at all, but wide, and I'm thinking, wow, this place is not really set up for rock shows. And then I'm listening, I hear like Jeff Tate was there like last week, or is that his name from Cream? Like he had he had a show there last week, and I'm like, here, but I mean, there's they have all these tribute bands, and they had a Jane's Addiction tribute band last Friday night to play, and Perry came up and sang with them.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
So they get a lot of, high profile people going in there, and it's, they actually do like amazing gigs. Like you look at the schedule and you're like, wow, he's playing there. And so
how many people can it fit?
I'm going to say like 250.
So it's so it's like a Toad's place or like a
Toad's
station.
Toad's is bigger. I mean,
is it? Wow,
yeah.
And Toad's is small.
Yeah.
So if you would have told late 1991, early 92 Jeff Tate that in 2019 you'd be playing at a place that capacity is 250,
yeah, well,
he would have probably quit right there.
Some of those clubs are great, though. I mean, geez, especially around Boston area, there's a lot of those really tiny hole-in-the-wall places that, Springsteen, U2 played. What was that club? They played in the last 10 years, and it was like a 200-seat, small theater.
Like in Asbury Park, or
in Boston, I know U2 did a really small show a couple of years back, one of their last albums, and it was like 300-seat theater club, whatever it was.
No, I mean it's good if it's once in a while, but if you're just on a tour and then you're booking this place as your LA show,
it's like a warm-up gig. Yeah, no, a band would play there for a warm, like Van Halen did the Whiskey in '93.
Yeah, but that was they closed the fucking street.
Well, yeah. But I mean, a lot of bands will do that. They'll play a warm-up gig that's at just a small club, and to start the tour off.
Right, but Jeff Tate is.
And then there's the other side where that's all you can play. That's the
Thursday night at the Rock Pile that I played, where my band was third on a 5-band bill, and in front of us was Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, wow.
So imagine it's Thursday night and you're playing this little shithole.
There you go. Is that your
mass? What? Yeah, that's mine. Yeah. And the guy that goes on in front of you is Mark Farner. He's opening for you. So that's the ultimate indignity.
Did he do the prayer circle before the show?
I don't know. We weren't allowed to talk to him
when he played.
He's fourth on a 5-band bill, and we can't talk to Mark Farner.
You're playing before us. You can't talk to me.
That's what I remember from him. And he played with Jack Bruce. It was Mark Farner, Jack Bruce, and I want to say it was who's the other guy from the Cars? Ben Orr from the Cars.
Hilarious.
They were in a band together, and they did a whole prayer circle beforehand, which was that's great. But Mark Farner had his whole jumpsuit like a 80s style or 70s style jumpsuit.
It was kind of pathetic. And then I saw I wasn't at the show, but I saw a picture of this. It was the screensaver from my program director in Kansas City. Blue Oyster Cult was playing some fair or some sort of shit.
Another example,
yeah. But the shot was from like the soundboard, and there were just these two middle-aged, like fat 50-year-old guys with mullets, and in front of the stage, standing in front of the stage, just like headbanging while Blue Oyster Cult are on stage. There's two guys and like an empty parking lot.
Oh,
just two guys. It was the I mean, imagine you're on stage, you're those guys, and you're like, shit, we used to play with Black Sabbath. What the fuck are we doing here? Yeah, and there's just two guys, and these two guys are loving it. Play Joan Crawford! Play Joan Crawford!
Just picking their set list for them. Dude, throw them away. These guys are just gonna tell us what to play the whole night.
More cowbell.
They both looked exactly like comic book guy from The Simpsons. I believe that you should be playing the red and the black and the black and the blue. Just the worst.
In the chat, AI Gaming says VH Reunion was a small show. Yeah, that was Cafe Wa, and that was a gimmick because
another small club.
They could play it. They weren't actually touring and playing small places. They just
and then they did Henson Studios too.
No, I understand the difference that you're talking about. I mean,
that's a lot of. I'm not talking about the same thing.
It's guys that like where are we booking in LA? We're booking at the 200-seater.
Yeah, at Pops Bar and Grill.
Yeah,
right behind Puppet Show.
Yeah, we're playing.
We're at the Enormo Dome.
McDonald's.
Was that the name of your band? No. Oh God.
I am Lieutenant Hook Stratton. I'll be your liaison.
That's funny. So you bring up AI Gaming. You bring up Raw, and my brother and I at the Chance in Poughkeepsie again. We saw Roth. I'm trying to think what year this would have been, man.
94.
Was it 94?
It would have to be your Filthy Little Mouth tour, unless it was the 98-99 DLR band when he played a shithole in Houma, Louisiana.
Ouch.
So it was one of those two tours. Yeah, Houma, Louisiana. I mean, and this place probably held less.
It was probably around that time.
Yeah,
like the bleach blonde hair and stuff. But
yeah, it was terrible.
When you think of a guy that went from playing stadiums, selling out stadiums, and then 98 or whatever, he's playing the Chance in Poughkeepsie, which my band used to pack it in.
Yeah.
It was just weird, seeing a guy that, when you were growing up was this huge rock star, and you're like,
dude, he was the rock star.
Yes.
He couldn't get booked in New Orleans. In 98, 99, he couldn't get booked in New Orleans, so he had to play Houma, Louisiana, which is like 40 miles outside the city. And that was after he had played in 94 in Your Filthy Little Mouth tour. He played Avalon Ballroom, which is not a ballroom by any stretch, on Lansdowne Street in Boston, right across from the left field wall. That place holds, I don't know, what do you say, John? 2,500, 3,000 people,
Avalon,
if that.
Yeah,
and it was like a third full.
Well, it says September 9th was 03 was David Lee Roth at the Chance.
03?
03, yeah. And unless it was Yuli John Roth that you saw. He played there in 04 and 05.
Well, when you play at ballroom, you have to make sure you wear baggy pants.
Right.
More ballroom.
And I see what you did there.
Yeah. Again, Fruitcake Tony, GNR at the Troubadour. That was a gimmick show. That was because they wanted to, not because they had to.
Yeah,
the Rolling Stones opened their steel wheel at the at Toad's place
because they wanted to.
Mr. Big played here on a Tuesday night at a little shitty place that holds less than 1,000 people.
Yeah.
It's a band that can fill stadiums in Japan.
It's called Survival.
Yeah,
as Dizzy Bubbles said, it's called You're right, and these guys have to book and they have to play. So. More power.
That's why people shit on casinos, and casinos pay more than clubs.
Yes, they do.
They pay well. Casinos pay well. Everybody gives a band a hard time for playing a casino.
No.
That's guaranteed money plus a per diem plus a nice hotel room.
Yeah, they're going to put you up.
Yeah, and sometimes they even backline you. All you have to do is bring your guitars.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Somerville Theater that you two played back in.
I got a question from Soda. He's asking if Tonic is back together. Tonic never really broke up, so they do
They're
shows
still
all the
touring,
time. Yeah, they do. They rarely tour, but they do a lot of spot shows here and there. So and
they have a ton of tour dates for 2019.
Yeah, and they Emerson tours a lot and uses hired guys. So John and Dan, or Jeff and Dan, aren't usually with him. They drop in from time to time because Jeff now is one of the top TV scorers. Like he's scoring the new Picard show.
Oh no shit!
And, yeah, he's killing it, winning Emmys and shit. So
wow.
Last weekend, Tonic played at Hops and Hog Festival in Huntsville, North Carolina.
Yeah, so they're still doing it. They're actually doing a 20-year anniversary of Sugar, the 1999 record, at Molly Malone's here in town here. So I might go see those guys and reminisce.
Awesome.
Yeah. So funny. Paul messaged me earlier saying that he didn't put it together that Hal Sparks was my singer.
I saw it and I just sort of glossed over. I'm like, oh yeah, Hal Sparks, and then I went, oh fucking Hal.
Paul knows everything. That's why I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
It didn't even click to me. Like I saw, and I've watched the videos and I see, and I'm like, God, I know that guy. What do I know him from? What the fucking? And then I saw Hal Sparks.
Clever disguise, right?
Yes, glasses are a great disguise. It worked for Superman.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because the last time, and again, it's been a while. The last time I saw him was like maybe a year ago. He comes into town, and one of the other morning shows in our cluster has a deal with the comedy club. So that's where he does his spot, is on their show. Right. So I walk into the kitchen and I just see him. Hey, Hal. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? Sort of a cordial hello. It didn't even occur to me that it was Hal. Just fucking weird to see it. Like, it's not like I'm like blinded by Hal Sparks' name. I know who he is. It just didn't click until like, oh, I'm like, how? Oh shit.
Well, yeah, it's amazing how many people know who he is but don't know his name.
Oh yeah, well and I knew his name. It was just like, even when I first met him years ago, I never really thought of him as a stand-up. Like I always think of him as a guy that did the Talk Soup stuff,
a TV
personality, and Dude, Where's My Car, and like bit spots in movies. Yep. I never thought of him as a stand-up, and he's a great fucking stand-up without a doubt. So it was just sort of a weird thing. It's like he's obviously one of the busiest comedians on social media. I mean, every day when I have our Twitter open, I mean, he's just, and obviously oriented, issue oriented and all that shit. So it just didn't occur to me. And again, I played his music from 01 when he used to come on the show at the other radio station I was at. So his version of Shock Me, Kisses Shock Me, got airplay in Phoenix when he would come to town.
That's awesome.
Am I the only person who had no idea who he was?
You don't know who Hal Sparks is?
There's people.
I just remember I love the 80s.
Until my wife said, "Holy shit, that's the guy from was it Talk Soup?"
Yep.
And I was like, I don't remember him. And then she showed me a clip of him on Talk Soup, and I was like, oh, I remember.
And the I Love the 80s stuff from VH1.
Yeah.
And Dude, Where's My Car?
And, yeah, Soul Town.
I never saw Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, I never saw it either.
Nah, he's fucking fantastic.
He steals the movie.
Yeah, you guys don't smoke a lot of pot then.
I just eat it.
I've never touched it. Nobody believes me either.
Dude, Where's My Car was Ashton Kutcher, right?
Johnny, when we finally meet, we gotta do some edibles together, man. There'll be a lot of that, a lot of giggling.
You just see Johnny sitting in the corner, like paranoid.
I want to be there.
Around,
I want to be there for that.
Yeah, right.
Just a little bit, nothing crazy, just a little bit.
I have some edibles in the kitchen if you want
them. Of course. What don't you have, Paul?
It's great. Everything's within reach too.
Yeah.
Well, let's just look here. There is my fucking music library. So all of my music, and there's another 2 cases if you look up against this wall
of Hustlers.
There's another 2 cases. You've got luchador masks.
I was going to say, is that a luchador mask?
Yeah, the luchador masks, and yeah, I'm a fucking child. Why do you think I'm 51 years old and single? All right,
what's the idiot's guides behind you?
Idiot's guides. Or
is it Cliff Notes?
No, it's dummies for dummies.
Dummies, okay.
Buying. This is fucking great. Home buying, mortgages, German shepherds, managing, creating web pages. And
wow.
then I have two. I have Pro Tools for Dummies and bass guitar for dummies.
Nice.
How many of those have you actually read?
None of them.
They should make one called Reading. What the hell is the
They probably do, because they make all of those.
Reading for dummies for dummies.
Yes,
yep.
Reading for Dummies for dummies.
I have Football for Dummies, and it's written by Howie Long. And the only reason why I have it, true story, is because when I was a season ticket holder in Oakland, Bill Callahan was the head coach, and he referred to them in a press conference as the dumbest team in America.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went out and bought Football for Dummies.
We got to be the dumbest team.
Yes, we were the dumbest team in America. And I went and bought Football for Dummies, and damned if it didn't get me into Playboy magazine.
Ooh, nice.
We need to hear that story.
I'll find it.
Is there like a center?
Careful now.
Hang on, I'll find it.
By the way, Tony, thanks for that compliment. That was the whole idea. I didn't want to do a tribute band. I want to do something fun.
Where the hell is it? Here we
I don't know. I just feel like, all the bands that we grew up listening to, a lot of them aren't playing anymore, and if they are playing, they're not good. So it's like, oh,
hey,
Dior Baird. And I found out about this. Somebody called me on the air when I was at WAAF in Boston, and he goes, "Hey man, I don't want to alarm you." I'm like, "What would you alarm me about? What?" He goes, "You're in Playboy." And I go, "What are you talking about?"
Careful now.
Yeah, I gotta be careful.
Oh, you can't. I'm trying to get it to focus.
In the lower right there. Oh yeah.
Oh, there he is.
whoa!
Thumbnail.
The Raiders were losing, right?
Yeah, the Raiders were terrible.
That's the pace.
And it was funny because the midday chick on WAAF is kind of hot. And the joke was, yeah, and I was joking about it. I go, who would have thought I would get in Playboy before you? So yeah.
Awesome.
Marketing. You know this, Caleb. It's all about marketing.
That's right. That was marketing before there was a band.
Yep. Anything you can do. For a couple of years, I was one of the more photographed Raiders fans in America because of shit like that. Because my seats were right there on the wall, and I didn't wear a weird costume or anything like that. So I would just bring props and shit and end up on television.
So how long did you actually live in the Bay Area?
I lived in Sacramento and commuted back and forth to the Bay Area for football games and stuff.
Yeah, we were just up there. It's awesome. Perfect weather, too. Which is hard to get in the Bay Area. It's hard to get perfect weather.
Yeah, no, it's Johnny will tell you it's raw in the mornings and at night.
Yeah, it's freezing overnight, but.
And no, I don't look happy in the pic AI gaming. That's because the Raiders were shitty, and they're still shitty.
That's why they used this picture.
Yes. No, it worked out. It worked out real good. That was the whole point of it. They were shitty, but they still beat the Bears last weekend.
Yep, they did.
Lyle Alzado.
Greatest steroid story of all time.
Yeah.
Lyle Alzado had clip-on hair. And like a hairpiece that had, you know how like
buttons,
you can have those
buttons, right?
The subdermal shit put in there, and you can snap the hair to your head. Lyle Alzado gets brain cancer. He's got the snapping hair, onto his head, and he's got, I don't know if it's spinal fluid or something leaking out of those,
oh my god,
those spots there.
Was he on the Bears?
No, he's
Or,
in
No,
Who was the
the
guy?
Broncos and the Raiders.
Yeah,
Who was
Broncos
like the
Raiders.
kind of the guy from like the 85 Bears, 84, 85 Bears that was, he had like the headband. He was always the
Jim McMahon.
Jim
Jim
McMahon. Okay. Yeah.
He's still
Yeah,
alive.
smile like the front end of a Dodge Ram. Big chiclets.
Yeah. God.
In the refrigerator. That's
He
the
was
other
so
one I
lucky to
remember.
have that defense. All he had to do was score 6 points a game.
One of the biggest crimes in football history is the fact that William Perry has a touchdown in the Super Bowl and Walter Payton doesn't.
Yep. I know there's one run in particular in that Super Bowl where Walter gets down to like the half-yard line. It's like, oh, come on. And then the next play is either Perry or McMahon going in. It's
Yeah,
like,
they give it to William Perry. That was prior to Pete Carroll throwing the ball on the 1 yard line. That was the dumbest play call in the history of the Super Bowl. I mean, they scored on it, but it was just so the injustice of not giving Walter Payton a touchdown.
Was that against the Pats? Was that the 80,
Yeah,
84,
that's the 85 Super Bowl, the 46-10 drubbing. You remember that, don't you? Back when the Patriots sucked?
Yeah, squish. Was it squish the
Back-
fish and then
back before the hacking.
tear the Bears?
Yeah, before they started cheating.
and it's still amazing how, because the Dolphins whooped the Bears on Monday night. Was that week 13 or week 12?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
15 in one season, yeah.
And Miami and New England, that was the championship game, the AFC championship game. And somehow New England beat Miami. So everyone was wondering, like, man, imagine. Everybody wanted to see that the rematch, of that game.
Grogan, right? Was it Grogan or Eason?
Tony Eason.
Both of them, because the Bears killed, whoever
Knocked
started.
Eason out, right? They knocked Eason out.
Yeah. The Patriots thought it was smarter to draft Tony Eason than either Jim Kelly or John Elway.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many?
Eason was better, higher
who
rated
were
on their
the
draft
teams-
board.
What teams passed on Elway that year?
Well, Elway, what did he say? Didn't he?
He was going to play ball. He had baseball. He
Yeah, he's like, listen, if you
Yankees.
draft me, I'm playing baseball.
The Yankees drafted him.
Wow, look at that.
I remember that.
Squish the fish.
Well, think of how the Bears feel right now. They drafted Trubisky, and Mahomes is, I'm not even going to say arguably. He is, if anybody was going to be drafted right now, and if you held the draft this year, and every NFL player is in it, Mahomes is the number one pick.
Yeah, but he's going to break down.
Well,
he's not
hurting
going to
right
be able
now.
to.
He doesn't have an ankle injury or something.
Yeah,
Still
he's going to break down. None of those quarterbacks ever last more than a couple of years. Anybody that moves like he does and runs outside the pocket like he does, Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, even Steve Young, Pat Hayden, all those guys.
I know that I agree with you 90%, but then there's the guys like Russell Wilson who learn. Listen, if I get hit, I'm not going to last. So
right. Well, right.
You
But it took him a couple of years to learn that. Mahomes is in his second year as a starter, and he's getting fucking pummeled because he's got no offensive line.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid sucks. So he'll never win when it matters.
What's up,
And
Zach?
he had another guy. He had a bigger version of Mahomes with Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb was massive, had a howitzer on his shoulder, and could move, and he blew that too.
Johnny, you want to chime in on this? Or
Yeah, Johnny's he's
looking up
handicapping the games this
Who
weekend.
the hell are all these people?
who are these?
Yeah.
John's
Fruitcake mentions the Super Bowl shuffle. I remember that.
I was sleeping with my eyes open.
So guitars.
Guitars. Band.
I'm now I'm jonesing to replace my Pacer Special that I got rid of years ago. I had a Pace 83 Pacer Special with that rainbow sort of finish, the factory finish that was like green and went all the way up into the red, reflective. And I sold it to a guy in England for like $1,000. And I remember the last email back and forth we sent to each other. Well, if you ever decide to buy it back, let me know. Gone. So now that's in my feed on Reverb now is anytime I see a Kramer Pacer, an old one, original one with the chicken beak neck, that's what I'm looking for at some point.
Uh-huh. And what was there was a graphic?
Yeah, it's not a graphic, but the paint job was it started green and then it went blue. It was like a rainbow paint job, and in between each color, it was reflective. And in between each color was like a black like border. You'll see it if you Google like rainbow Kramer Pacer.
Mhm.
There's actually one on Reverb now, but it's got a rosewood fingerboard, and I don't want the rosewood.
Yeah, if I ever make a Frankenstein for this project, I'm going to use the beak neck
Right.
for the US Festival because I think
Yeah.
that was the coolest looking one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the beak neck.
Yeah, those are. I love those. Okay, so it's the one where it's like green and then red and then yellow and green.
And then yellow, and then it's like a rainbow. It's not really a rainbow, but you know what I'm saying.
Do you have any pictures of it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's one on Reverb. I see it. It looks like
It's the exact same finish, but it's got the maple neck. I don't have my iPad in here with me, otherwise I'd
Here,
pull up
I'll take a picture of it.
But I bought it out of a pawn shop in New Orleans for $200.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
And when I lost my job a few years back, quick way to make some money. Yeah, that's the finish. That's the exact same guitar.
rad.
What the frick?
I love that.
Yep.
That's
Had a
super
coil
cool.
that switches the coil tap in there for the shallow pickup.
Yeah.
Original Floyd.
That has stripes, yo.
Yeah. That is kind of.
It's like Saturn's rings right there, man.
1983 Kramer Pacer Special is what it is.
Hope John BL's at it. What do you?
By the way, Dan, I do remember
Well-
the AMC Pacer. It's a piece of shit. All AMC cars were garbage. AMC stood for assholes making cars.
So I'm looking at Alex's shirt from the US Festival, and I'm wondering, is that 3-lock box? Is he wearing a Sammy shirt?
No, it matches his kit.
Oh, I know that, but I just didn't know. I'm looking, but it's not. It's definitely not the same. But I'm looking because I just noticed that that's the Sammy Hagar 3-lock box cover
Ooh,
with the lips,
signaling Sammy in 1983.
right? Putting
That's
out the
what, of
word.
course,
As fate would have it.
As
And-
Finn would have it.
And that kit was on was I don't know if it was Reverb or something, but it was up for sale a few years ago with the
Crown
lips.
with a gold cap on it. How many times have you watched
Oh,
Unleashed?
I watched part of it last night after you guys were talking about it.
that. Me and Johnny were talking about that last night. You know, on the Friday show, we were just, and after a minute or so, we were just like, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about here.
given my quaff, I'm not throwing stones from a glass house, but that haircut, though, Sammy, come on.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was letting it grow out. He had that in-between stage because he
Yeah.
cut it real short for Farm Aid.
Yeah, but it looks like the
In-between
back of it was
stages.
shaved up underneath like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the in-between stage after you cut your hair, because I used to have long hair, cut it, long hair, cut it, long hair, cut it. It is the in-between stage where it's like, oh my God, I look so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Do-rag, baseball hat. Then when it gets to a certain length, kabuki on the top. You do the kabuki top knot until it grows long enough so you can make the ponytail go down a little bit further and further. And then it's just this fucking rat's nest.
There it is. The Faith Wolf.
Yeah, what is that? Come on.
Are we looking at Caleb's guitar or are we looking at this?
No, you're looking. You had just got the. There's Caleb's guitar.
Nice.
That's very 1970s Dodge van with the carpet inside it.
Yeah, totally. Lake.
I had a
guitars are
skateboard with
rocking.
that same finish.
Well, this doesn't do it justice because I've seen pictures of it and what it's showing on here.
No, you got to see it in person.
Well,
No, it's
Caleb,
beautiful.
speaking of what things look like on here, I was showing, my RG right here, my 7-string RG, and somebody wrote, I prefer the Desert Sun Yellow Ibanez color better. Now it's like, it is Desert Sun Yellow, but it just doesn't look like that on here. Like if you go on my Instagram page, you could see the color, the real color.
That's like your flamingo pink weasel
Well,
guitar.
I don't have to be nice to them, but they're doing the right thing. So
Oh, with the pickups?
yes,
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you missed that last week. That was a great update.
Yeah, the gloves are back on. You know, gloves are back on.
Somebody talk to somebody.
Well,
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. No, you're gonna call me now, you son of a bitch.
No, that's my theory. I know nothing.
Well, I'll give you my theory. I sent him a link to the show and said, "Hey, I'm going to be discussing my experience with your company tonight." And I sent him the link and I said, "Before we go live, I will send you the link to join the show."
Ooh.
And then about an hour later, they said, "We're going to make it right." So,
wow.
Yeah.
Look at that, Johnny Beane.
Nice.
Well, what I think happened is that maybe the gentleman I'm speaking about clicked on the link and saw how many people, maybe he went through some of the videos and saw like how many views some of these videos actually have and said, it's not worth it. Replace the guy's pickups.
What took them so long?
I don't know. I just think he's one of those guys. Like his pride gets the best of him sometimes, and he's like, "No, I don't agree with him. So screw him."
Wow.
But whatever. It's all over, almost all over now.
Okay.
We promoted them for a year.
Yes.
All we did was talk about them and how great they were and how much we wanted you to get one of their guitars. And look what happened.
I feel like Steve Buscemi in that which movie was that where he gets off the phone and he crosses off the name on the list.
Oh yeah, Billy Madison.
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing lipstick.
Puts the lipstick on. Yeah.
I wasn't putting lipstick on.
I feel like that's like oh, my plans for NAMM. Never mind.
That's not the one. Oh, damn it, I missed it.
I haven't caught this before. Al holding Sammy's Deane. Was it? Yeah, Deane, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's a great tour book, man.
Yeah, I remember that tour book for sure.
Yeah, can't get it in there.
All those pictures are awesome.
I'm just looking.
I just remember being fascinated with like how many parachute pants like versions that
different
Eddie
versions.
Had.
He's got the blue.
All I wanted was one, and he had like every color. But that's green.
Weren't they called skids? Weren't they skids? Remember skids?
Those weren't skids yet.
I think those were custom made for him because I could never find them. And I looked. Trust me.
Here's the pink. Is that the same pair that he had in Live Without a Net?
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
Looks
probably the same wife beater too.
Yep.
Am I allowed to say that on here, Johnny?
That was them leaving after the show.
This almost looks like it could be New Haven. This crew picture, because you got the seats behind them. I don't know. I'd have to.
No, it wasn't New Haven because they would have done that early in the tour.
True. That's not. Yeah, you're right. It would have been earlier. Rehearsals, probably rehearsals.
New Haven was in late August.
August 27th.
It says on the back of John's shirt.
August 27th.
I just remember. I remember that. I remember that. That VMA. You remember that? I remember watching the VMAs live because I knew they were going to be on the show, but they didn't tell you they were piping in because you thought they were going to be at
live on the show. Instead, they came
VMAs, but they
in fact, they were live without a net.
So how did I'm wondering how that worked? The VMAs were. It must have been just a video feed from the cameras that they had filming.
No, they had different video because the Live Without a Net is a filmed concert.
Right. Well, right. But I didn't know if they did the video tap out of those cameras or
different cameras.
Oh, they didn't send it out like Wi-Fi or anything? No.
No.
Connection back then?
Yeah. No. So no, they just decided which songs they were going to do, and then they played the show, and then might have even been shot on a different night.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Was it actually live on the video on the MTV broadcast? I didn't think so.
No, that was
no way
recorded.
But they could. I don't know if it was the same night or the night before or something. But they just said we're doing this MTV thing, and then they.
Well, so then there's a video version of either Live Without a Net or the night before. Obviously, we know there's a full film version of the night before, but the audio was bad.
What songs made it? What song was it? Just Best of Both Worlds?
Dreams, and which ones did
Made
they
it on
play it?
VMAs. Was it one
there's
song or-
Wild Thing? Didn't they do Wild Thing?
on the VMAs?
On the VMAs, I want to say it was the
Because Wild Thing was part of Best of Both Worlds, wasn't it? Or
No.
I want to say it was Best of Both Worlds with the Addicted to Love
Addicted to Love.
part in the middle of it.
Yeah.
not Wild Thing. Addicted.
That's
to
probably
Love.
what they
That's
showed.
But there's definitely a video feed of that show because they use clips of it for the Unleashed show, where there's the part where Eddie's up at the keyboard and stuff like that. In fact, there's bootleg footage of that with the time code, the timestamp.
Because that's different. That Unleashed was filmed in late June, and
There are some
aired in the middle
Live
of the
Without a Net
summer.
clips, but those are from the film.
it aired a few weeks before the VMAs. Unleashed came out, so
All right.
it was all done prior.
Yeah, wherever that video comes from, then, because there's a video I have somewhere, some footage with a time code on the bottom there. That's video footage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Unleashed was
Of
a shot.
Eddie doing a
From
solo.
New Haven. Yeah.
Unleashed
No,
was shot
that's a different
completely
show.
in San
But-
Diego. San Diego.
There is video of New Haven from the VMAs, right? And it was in New
5
Haven.
nerds, 1 cup. Is that what I should title this?
Let's get a reaction video of us talking about that.
God,
Yeah.
I wish I remember that show better because I saw the 5150 tour from the front row
Oh,
at the Forum. Like
My
on
Sammy pick is from the 5150 show.
July 5th, 1986, and I went to. There was 2 shows at the Forum, and I went the first night, and I remember I bought a scalped, like one of those ticket brokers, which was new to me back in 1986, a ticket broker, and I remember I had to go like downtown LA to a ticket broker, and I paid like $80 for an 8th row ticket, and just a single. And so my
Which is
dad,
now a $2,500 seat.
right, my dad drives me down to the Forum, and he's like, "So what time am I picking you up?" And I go, "I don't know, like in 5 hours or something." And he goes, "Well, why don't I just try and come in?" So he gets a ticket somewhere else in the Forum, and ends up just coming down to the 8th row with me because he's like an older guy. And
My dad did that in '91. We went to
my dad squeezed into the 8th row with me at the Forum and saw Van Halen from the 8th row. So, but that night I saw that KMET, the old station from Southern California, they were doing those ticket upgrades. So if you were walking around the parking lot with something very loud that said KMET and Van Halen on it, they were going to give you tickets, upgrade you down front. So my buddy and I, after I saw that people were actually having that done and what they were wearing or doing to get, we took a white sheet, like a huge white bed sheet, and cut 2 holes in it and just painted like Van Halen and KMET all over it, and we just walked around the parking lot right where they were hanging out, and they just gave us tickets right away.
Nice.
And they put us on the radio. I remember having a tape of us on the radio being interviewed, and I remember I did, the cardinal sin on radio when someone asks you your name, don't give them the full name, just give them your first name, But I was like Caleb Rappaport. I remember stuttering and it was crazy. We went down second. It was a comp. I still have the stub. It was said complimentary, and it was 2nd row. But there was a barricade, and once they came on stage, you just ran to the barricade, and I was right there, dead center for the whole show, and
Nice.
it was insane. So when they do like Best of Both Worlds, and they're sitting at that center spot during Best of Both Worlds, they're like right there.
So this was
Wow.
it's definitely a video from and he's wearing the poof shirt. It's all the same clothes from New Haven.
yeah.
And that's definitely a video feed that they are
There you go.
using.
Yeah. That's Addicted to Love. That is New Haven.
Right.
Yeah, but they were doing that. They did that at the LA show, and that was in early July. So they were doing it on the tour every night. at that spot
Right.
in the show for
Mhm.
months. So
Yeah, and they talk about that in Unleashed too. We'll jam into a Cream tune or
Well, they
and
play
then-
it backstage.
yeah, and they're playing it
There's the video of
backstage,
them playing it backstage. Yeah,
and Sammy's making up different lyrics.
that's where we all learned how to do
Like my
the.
mom.
Yeah,
That's how we all learned how to do the elephant sound.
Yeah.
on the guitar because Eddie does
Mhm.
it.
and then you could watch him where he did it. Like I kept
Yep.
rewinding it. Like where's he doing those harmonics?
Yep, that's how I
Oh,
learned.
yeah.
It. Yep.
Same thing.
Yep. Wore that tape out, dude. Wore the Unleashed tape out. That was like porn to me.
I have it somewhere on a DVD. I've got DVDs of like the Radio 1990 shit and Egos and Icons and all that stuff. I think I have the Unleashed stuff there somewhere.
Yeah, I remember for some reason they cut in the Eddie solo on Live with It On It. They cut Fur Elise. He played this whole classical piece in the beginning, right before or right after he did 316.
They may not have been able to get clearance for it.
Probably right.
That's what happened with U2 when U2 did Live Under a Blood Red Sky. The original releases of it had that piece from Evita in it.
Mhm.
And then they cut that out on the CD version of it.
That makes perfect sense because I remember like that was the coolest part of the whole solo for me because I'd never heard him play anything like that or since.
I have it. I have the audio of what he actually played because
I do too. I have it.
It was released on a bootleg.
Yeah, and plus it's on YouTube now, right? Different.
It might be. It might be. But what he played though, he plays he goes into 316, and then him and Alex start going into like a blues jam.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that's cut out. And then when they go back, it's him doing 316. That's why when you're watching Live with On Net, he puts the cigarette.
There's a weird cut. Yeah.
You see the cigarette. He puts it down, but next thing you know, it's back on the headstock.
Yeah.
That whole part is him and Alex jamming out.
They did the blues jam on the '84 tour also.
Yeah.
With the three of them standing around Alex, like Mike and Eddie were standing around Alex. They're doing the blues jam. And that's right in the middle of Eddie's solo. And I remember how cool that was because that was different. That was like the first time that Alex actually played during the solo, except for the crashes in Eruption. But yeah, I wish they would do more blues jams because those were pretty cool. If you listen to that blues jam, like at the Montreal show or something, it's pretty awesome. You can hear the roots.
Man, where's my iPod? Because I have that.
Yeah, it's not on this one. I have the DATs. There was like an unreleased compilation, like a 7 DAT collection of all that stuff, of Van Halen stuff that has Fur Elise on it. I thought it was gonna. I thought it was on
play
this
it,
one.
Johnny?
Play what?
A little bit of Fur Elise or a little bit of his. I just
Fur Elise. Is that like the Nazi version?
How do you pronounce it? Fur Elise.
That's
Fur Elise.
That's
sorry.
Yeah, that's Hitler's
Fuhrer,
cousin.
not the Fuhrer.
It's
I just found a new version of Worcester.
It's a hockey song. It's Grant Fuhrer from the.
Come on, Fur Elise.
Fur Elise.
Fur Elise. Come on.
If it's already on, is it on YouTube?
I didn't get it
Already?
from YouTube. I didn't get it from YouTube. I don't think it's on YouTube.
Because I wouldn't play anything that's already on YouTube.
Then I won't play it then. But
we can actually get.
It's a new version of Worcester '86 that I just found today. As a matter of fact,
Put it in the Discord.
John BL makes the.
But it's not on YouTube. That's the thing.
Poof shirt. It's not the proof shirt. It's poof. Just letting you know. And John BL makes those shirts. In fact, that's
John.
That's how we first knew who he was on the show. He sent us.
John, show your tits.
Show your tits.
It's proof. There you go.
Yeah, and Johnny, put up the link to the Michael Anthony in store, so Fruitcake Tony can see that awesome gold that we got back in April of 2018.
Years ago.
Yes, when I had Michael Anthony sign the poof shirt.
Yeah, and have a shirt like this.
And he thought it was like, hey, I had a shirt like this. So funny.
And he told me the same thing when I saw him at NAMM
Yeah.
last year. Well, this year, last time. I had
You
him
know,
sign. I had him sign my shirt too.
This is actually a much better version of Worcester '86. It was a different source. They have all that's the where they played Growth with Sammy in 1986. But the versions that I've heard are really pretty low quality. But this version sounds excellent. It's the whole show from I don't know which date '86.
If it's a bootleg, it should be fine, man. Right?
I don't know if you can hear it.
$2:30 in the morning. John
Right.
time.
This is what I fall asleep to.
Good night, DR Guitars.
This is a much better version than I've heard of this show. In real stereo, too.
One was amazing.
Where'd you find that?
It's a trader site, tradersden.com.
Whoa.
Black market, bro.
The dark web.
The darts. Gotta pass it.
Imagine if there was like a dark web version of this show, like all like there's guys like just like Johnny and then
Right.
Square, just a different like, dark web version.
Darkwing Duck version.
This sounds like it could almost be soundboard, but I don't think there's too many from '86. He's just having fun, just chilling.
Yeah.
Johnny, is that the link to the Michael Anthony show?
Mm-hmm.
While Sammy's under the stage getting it wet.
That's right.
With a BJ from Worcester's finest.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh
a
my
video,
God.
John?
No, it's just audio.
Audio? Because you look like you're watching it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the waveform. You want to see the waveform?
He's watching something over there.
Yeah, he looks like he's watching that.
Is that a board mix?
It sounds great, whatever generation it is. It really sounds good.
I don't think that's bored because you can hear too much.
No, yeah, it's
too much of the
it's
room.
ambient. It's very ambient. So
Could be a PZM.
it's a different source than has been previously available.
Very cool.
Yeah, it could be a PZM hung for mixing purposes later on down the line.
And well,
That
credit where credit's due. Let's see. It's
There you go. Eddie Van Halen lick right there.
Right there.
recorded by a guy named Kingpin. Kingpin is the guy. The Steve Basta Camille Concert Network. Worcester, August 11th, 86.
That was his best sounding guitar. There's like no doubt about it.
This was, yeah.
And he had the most control over that guitar too. Like whatever he wanted to do.
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, the Live Without a Net solo is his best recorded solo ever.
Hands down.
And there's that, but I always noticed was there that compression he had on it. There was like a compression effect that he had, especially when he was doing the really high, that part. You're like, oh my God.
So that's the sound that I love, that 90 to 95 sound. I prefer that.
This solo is 17 minutes. This is a pretty long solo.
17 minutes. Wow.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can post. I might be able to post. It's how
But
big
you got to
is
remember,
it?
it's the first tour, Caleb. They're trying to do everything they can not to have to play Roth music.
It's FLAC audio, so it's a big file.
Filling it up.
which I think is kind of shitty.
Wow. It is what it is. The day Dave gets on stage and sings a Sammy song, we'll have the opportunity to call it even. At least Sammy took a couple of shots at it.
Yeah.
Paul, what was your first Van Halen show?
84?
92.
Yeah, 84.
Did you see them in 86?
Oh, I saw the. No, I didn't see him in '86. I saw him at the Monsters of Rock.
88.
The thing up in.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
the racetrack.
That whole show. It was a nightmare.
Man, I'm gonna have to listen to this whole. This is a great recording.
That part.
Probably the easiest part of that whole solo is that lick.
Yep.
You know, it's funny though, because you can tell at that point they had something to prove. Both bands. I mean, obviously Roth did the same thing, putting Vi and Sheehan on the same stage. I think when you're motivated like that, when it's a personal motivation thing, you can almost feel it, and it never felt the same than on those first two tours.
Oh man,
with either band.
That Dave show was fucking incredible.
Ridiculous.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
the '86 Dave tour was ridiculous.
It was hard for me to because I'm Eddie's biggest fan, so I go into that and I'm like, God, I hate that I love this,
Yeah.
How can you not love Steve Vai? My God.
Well, he was the villain though. Like he'd already been the villain in Crossroads.
That's right.
So,
but the villain makes the story.
Yeah, but you still
looks like they played Make It Last on this show.
You know, it is strange though. You're right, Caleb. It's like Van Halen. Everybody looked at Roth as the villain, but Van Halen were the ones doing all the shit talking.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones always taking.
Roth was just getting on with it. Yeah,
Roth kept his mouth shut for the most part, and only fired back after a little while.
Well, when you're, that's a smart philosophy. It's let everybody else do the talking. The philosophy of when you're the lead dog, the view never changes. So if what they're talking about is all about David Lee Roth, obviously that's more interesting than anything they're doing. Mm-hmm. That's his philosophy.
Well, the biggest,
and it's smart.
Yeah, the biggest chip on the Van Halen's shoulder was when they got rid of Dave. Everyone said, "How can you go on without Dave?" And so it was their challenge, and they had to say, "Well, Dave wasn't Van Halen." That's what they had to do. They had to. That's how they had to market it that way.
You realize 2007 negates everything that Sammy did with him.
Mm-hmm. And
because
it literally did.
Bringing Dave back only justified all of the things that they spent 11 years trying to get rid of. It only just, Sammy and the stuff that they did with Sammy, although not my favorite version of Van Halen, is phenomenal music compared to its peers. And all of that gets washed away, and all of the work that they do, laying the groundwork for all that amazing music. But Sammy never got out from under the shadow of David Lee Roth. And then when David Lee Roth came back in 96, just for that one moment, that brief moment, and those two songs, I don't know about you guys, I got a chill the minute I heard the beginning of Me Wise Magic.
I cried.
Yeah.
Me Wise Magic, that's as soon as I hear it, and when he does, I know what you're thinking, you're like, yes!
Yeah.
It was such a tease. It was such a tease.
But you're like, this is what's been missing. This is what's been missing.
Yeah,
you can't create chemistry. It's either there or it's not. And as good as it was with Sammy, it's not what it is with Dave, or was with Dave.
Yeah, I was
very different.
I was in a van down by the river. No, I was in a van in Nebraska touring with Tonic in the van, and that song came on the radio.
Yeah.
And that was the first moment, and I literally just started weeping because
I'm the opposite of you guys. I remember hearing that song, and me and my brother, who's 4 years older than me, he got me into Van Halen, huge Roth, huge Sammy fans, all this stuff. When we first heard Me Wise Magic, we're like, God damn, Dave can't sing anymore. That was our first thing.
That was
It's
later.
it's not a vocal highlight.
Yeah, it's later in the song that you hear that, by the way.
It's really a great song.
But
I love that song.
Paul's right. When you first hear the first notes of
it's a
Dave's
chill
voice, it's like, oh my God, it's back. It's back.
By the way, am I the only one that thinks that the best thing Sammy Hagar has ever done is the HSAS record? I love that record.
Yes.
Love that record.
I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember seeing like that special where they played a show, and it was pretty good for sure. It's
so not Sammy, and so not Neil Sean, and it's just so good. They do that trilogy. There's a trilogy in there called Animation, Valley of the Kings, Giza. It's like this 9-minute piece. It's 3 songs, but it works into one piece. And just every time they move into the next part of it, you're like, oh, this is even better. This is even better. And every time I listen to that HSAS record, I'm like, I wish they had done another album, or
what
at least
year
done a
was that?
studio
What year was that album?
84.
84.
And it was technically some live shows from San Jose that they doctored in the studio. They never really made a studio record. It was live shows that they did in San Jose, and they took the crowd out of it and doctored it a little bit. But it's a live show, and that might be why I like it so much, because there's an energy there.
Is that record on iTunes?
I'm sorry?
Is that record on iTunes?
It's not on Spotify. It might be on iTunes. I don't know, but it's not on Spotify. I looked for it.
It's out of print. It came out a couple of different times. It was on Geffen. It was a Geffen record because David Geffen owned Sammy at the time. Great record. I mean, it's Kenny Aronson and Michael Shreve as the rhythm section. So, and I thought the Chicken Foot was going to be HSAS because you had Hagar, Satriani, Anthony, and Smith.
Wow, I never thought of that. Yeah,
too bluesy for me.
Could have been HSAS too.
What was it? They did a cover. What was the hit that H8?
Whiter Shade of Pale.
Yeah,
they did a cover of Procol Harum's Whiter Shade of Pale. It was pretty good.
Do you guys like Chicken Foot?
Yeah,
I like the second album.
Yeah, there's some good songs.
I like the second album better than the first one.
There's some good parts, but I don't know, man. I prefer younger Satriani, over anything past, like, what's to say, 2008.
Well,
did you ever listen to the Squares record?
He just got too bluesy, and it's like, oh my god, like, stop with it.
It's interesting though, listening to him conform to straight song writing, which is what I think he had to do for Chicken Foot. Was he had to just play in a band with a singer,
right,
and not be the lead voice in the band, which is the guitar.
Yeah,
so,
but
is that Lemmy?
I don't know. It's writing.
Let me take it up on me.
Satriani I always thought his songs were well written as far as structure and all that stuff, but I don't know. I just thought as he got older, it's too much blues for me, and I don't want to hear it.
My favorite Satriani stuff is the Banana Mango stuff off of Time Machine. That stuff is phenomenal. Like, it's really weird time stuff, and it's got a little, percussion and shit that's going on. And people always ask, well, who's better, Satriani or Vai? And I always tell them Vai's the better player, Satriani's the better songwriter.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey John, Tony wants a shirt.
Well, I'll work on that. Okay. I got to get one to Paul too, so we'll.
Oh hell yeah,
we'll work on that.
Oh wait, what Johnny? What did I call Paul last night? Niagara Paul? Is that what I said?
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
I'm an idiot.
Let's hear what Ed's up to at 13 minutes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harmonic
Heard that before. What's interesting though, does anybody else think that this was the zenith of Eddie's solo? Like that everything after this?
Yeah, 86. He had something. Not only did he have something to prove, but
I don't see.
But he didn't bring anything. He didn't bring anything new to the table after this.
No,
unless
Caleb.
No, but he was focused, and he was. He had such the catalog behind him. Think about all the.
He did do that one Close Encounters thing with the Sustainer in the 95.
Yeah.
Balance tour thing. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There wasn't
but
much.
The last thing he did was, the Mean Street intro was really the last new sort of thing he brought to the table. Right?
316.
Well, 316 is, but that's
it's very different from
It's just not a technique though. Like he didn't he lost innovating.
Hell, I can
after 86.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, he added to the
he had the piano, the tray table thing,
the tray table
thing
in '84.
In '84, and then he incorporated that into Judgment Day for the beginnings of the guitar solo for that.
Right.
Yeah, and then he
the tray table.
People say he
is really cool. If you check that out, John. Paul.
Oh yeah, I've seen it
from the '84 clips, like the Montreal show. If you watch, it's like 3 or 4 minutes of stuff, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and then you see going back to the Eat 'Em and Smile tour, when Vi runs across the stage, whips his guitar over and drops it on that and just does the same thing, and you're just like, oh
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was.
He mocked the eruption part in the solo too. I thought that was that was me going. That's gave me a reason to go dick.
Yeah, no, it was a dick move, but it was one of those things where you just kind of went, well, okay, I guess there is another guy that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, playing it
and people
playing it and writing it are two different things.
Sure, no, you're absolutely right. And people say that they try to give Eddie shit for the power drill thing, not realizing that what he did and what Paul Gilbert did are two totally different things.
All right, Paul put picks on it.
Yeah, and you know this, but the Eddie thing, obviously the motor against the magnets and all that stuff, and using the wheel and as a slide, that might have been his last innovative thing or creative thing that he did. I don't think it ever got better than it did in '86 as far as his solos go. He was like, here's everything I'm capable of. Jaw-dropping shit.
He did the edge of the quarter on the Van Halen 3 record. That was a little different.
Can we just skip that record? We just go right over it.
Yeah.
Hey, I just got 2 guitar picks from that record. Thank you. Who was that?
Fruitcake Tony.
Fruitcake.
Mike Neese.
Mike Neese.
Right?
Mike Neese, Fruitcake Tony.
Was it?
Mike Tony Neese Fruitcake.
Never opened.
Oh. Well, yeah.
Never opened.
There's a guitar pick in there, just to let you know.
There is?
And Paul, he did do Cathedral after Mean Street, so that was a new thing.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my original statement was it never got bigger than it did in '86.
Right.
Yeah.
And he kind of followed the same formula throughout his solo spot.
Yeah, but dude, the songwriting throughout 4 Sammy Hagar records is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. And he was challenged. He was challenged by it because he had to. He had to do something. He had to top himself. And the song structuring and the writing on the Sammy stuff was different. And people can say better, but he was definitely going after it and trying. And there's a lot of great songs. No one can argue that.
I like shit like Mine Oh Mine and Seventh Seal better than Not Enough and Can't Stop Loving You. I like
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's not even an argument.
Yeah, but those are the things that Can't Stop Loving You's and the Not Enoughs and stuff were the things that everybody in the mainstream heard that were big.
It's like Pretty Woman versus Hang 'Em High,
Well, hold on a second.
Right, no,
that was the pop hit, but
hold on a second. And me, Johnny, and Dave have discussed this before. And on Balance, which I love that record. But when you look through my Spotify playlist, you'll notice that Not Enough and Can't Stop Loving You are not on there because that's the first Van Halen record that the ballads seemed forced and like just not they weren't real for me, like, why can't this be love and stuff like that? Like you can feel it, you're like, fuck yeah, this is kind of corny, but it's awesome at the same time. Whereas those songs
up until Sammy does that, I'm done with that.
Yeah,
works, though.
That ruins the song.
You get away with it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call that a ballad.
I had the same
Why
thought.
Can't This Be Love?
I love the song up, and I actually like the giggle stick part of it too. The way the keyboard sounded like the giggle stick. Remember those things we had where you would turn them upside down, made that noise.
Or the little cow thing.
Yeah. But then when he starts doing the scat singing thing, I'm like, oh, cheesy. That's where the Hammy nickname comes from.
Well, that's where they made it jazz,
Yeah.
That's how they got on the jazz radio. That part.
One of my
Swinging
favorite songs on Balance, besides like Amsterdam or Aftershock.
Aftershock right there.
I think Take Me Back is a great song. Great song. And that gives me chills still, because I think it's, and also his tone on that song.
Oh yeah,
is ridiculous. Like I'll say that's like
chicken. It's like
post Dave tone for Eddie is that song, in my opinion. So
there was. I mean, the Can't Stop Loving You's and the Feelings and the
Feeling
Not
is
Enough.
Hold on a second. Don't put that song in the same category as Can't Stop Loving You.
I think Feeling was the beginning for me. Was the beginning of shit like Year to a Day and stuff that was drawn out and too long. If you cut Feeling down by about 2 minutes, better song, in my opinion.
Kind of like it reminds me of the Guns N' Roses song "Estranged." You remember that song?
Oh, great song, yeah.
It's too long though.
Epic.
Yeah, but I didn't mind. Like, you're a radio guy, so.
Nah, I'm a musician first.
Paul, sometimes you need the long song so you can go take a big dump, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
That's why I put on Me Wise Magic. 6.5 minutes, baby.
And they got a DeVita. I had tacos last night. Put on Hit and got a DeVita. I gotta go.
Me Wise Magic is 6.5 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
The end a little.
Yeah, I would.
5:20.
Is it?
Let's look it up. Bring out the cheaters.
Here we
You
go.
could be right. 6:03.
Oh, all right. We split the difference there.
It's that end part,
Yeah, the outro. And I think Can't Get the Stuff Anymore is a fantastic song.
That's a better song than Me Wise Magic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, it's better sung. It flows better start to finish than Me
More
Wise
Dave.
Magic.
It's more Dave.
Yeah, Me Wise Magic is a great song, but when you get to that part where Dave is starting to strain, there's no strain and Can't Get This Stuff No More. So it sounds more cohesive from start to finish.
Did they write Me Wise Magic in 96 or 95? When did they write that? When did Ed write it?
You mean when did Eddie write it?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge departure from the late Sammy stuff. I mean it really is a Dave song. It really is.
On a transcript. So
yeah. Well, that
you guys have this one, that best of version of the best of.
I did. I had
Johnny
that one.
did.
Yeah.
Johnny did.
yeah, right.
I did.
Johnny did.
Yeah. That's a promo one.
Yeah, this will explain. See, the mini best that I pointed up earlier is gold. This one is
rad.
sort of silver.
So that was the full screen. The other one's the widescreen. Anybody get that reference?
Flat top Wolfgang, right? Flat top.
Yep, that's the patent pending black flat top.
Wow.
Fruitcake Tony Balance is his least favorite Van Halen album. Are we just talking Roth and Sammy era stuff? Or are you including the Van Halen 3 album? Because
you can't.
Come on. There's no way that Balance is not better than VH3.
I like Balance better than 08112.
There you go.
There's a lot more variety on there. It's a much more well produced album.
Is the worst sounding album besides VH3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, it's fuck Balance 5150 0U812 as far as the Sammy years.
Yeah.
I know everybody rips on 5150 the way it sounds, but I don't know. There's something about
it, you're right, but it's
of its time.
Yeah.
You were talking about this weeks ago about replacing some of the electronic drums.
Well,
would you go that far?
If they were to remix the album, I'd still want it to sound the same, except for replacing the toms.
It'd be, if I met Alex again, it would be my first question. Would be, would you ever want or think about putting real toms on that record? Because
I bet the answer would be no for the exact thing that I just said, which is it was of its time. Yeah, it's a snapshot of what, and that would be like saying, if you had a chance to touch up the Mona Lisa, would you make the colors more vivid?
Yeah.
And I don't know that you do.
But I'm wondering how Alex actually feels about Simmons sounding drums now.
Right.
Because he's not using
he used them on a couple of records.
Yeah. No, he did.
For his toms specifically.
For anybody.
He doesn't really have the fans' perspective, so it would be interesting to see what he thought about it.
Well, it's kind of like when Metallica, came out with the what 35th or whatever the whole anniversary of Justice.
Yeah, they didn't mix the bass higher.
They didn't remix it, and even though 15 whatever years ago, Lars said in an interview that And Justice for All for me is unlistenable. I can't even listen to that album anymore. Like,
but here's an example of that gone wrong. Megadeth did it with their first album. They
did it with
My Business.
All of their
stuff,
right? They remixed.
And remember when Sharon took the first 2 Ozzy records and put Mike Borden and Robert Trujillo on them and took out Lee Kerslake and Bob Daisley?
Yeah.
The reaction was nothing but negative. The records sounded better. I don't think they sounded better, but from a sonic standpoint, Trujillo's bass sounded better than Daisley's bass, and Mike Borden is a far more powerful drummer than Lee Kerslake. But you're fucking with something that is that snapshot, that band at that time, and I don't know that you do that.
That's the way I feel. Yeah.
Whoa.
Unless they re-record the whole album and then leave the original one and just do it like Kiss did with Destroyer.
Whoa. Dutchy. Whoa.
I do agree to a certain extent, but I don't know. I just feel like when they because they remixed the live Seattle Justice Tour album or the audio to that.
But that's live.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking like, well, listen, you can pretty much pull up all the like when bands go in for a recall and a remix of an album, right? On these boards, everything is programmed in and it pulls up the presets. Everything is written down on sheets about where all the outboard gear is, all the settings and everything. So as long as the tapes are in good shape, which obviously they are because they used the isolated tracks and the individual tracks for Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff like that. So the Justice album master tapes are still usable. So all they had to do is pretty much pull up those albums or those tapes on the board, pull everything up so it sounded almost identical to what it was, and then pull the bass up, maybe take some lows out of the rhythm guitars because obviously they're going to fight each other.
They did say those tapes are in very bad conditions with all the edits and splices and everything.
It's bull because they used them for Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
True.
So they're in good. They got to be in good shape.
Back to the Van Halen stuff. Does anyone see this quote by Dutchy?
I did see it. I'm waiting for you to pounce.
Dreams.
Right? Dutchy.
Wrong.
Come on, dude.
Wrong. Dreams is a fantastic song.
Dreams is like Sammy's best ever song he's ever been on.
And the notes and the vocal performance on it is flawless.
Yeah. And
it's much and I'm no Hagar fan.
And Eddie's solo, and especially the outro solo, it's beautiful.
It's a perfect song.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
It's a perfect song.
I'm sorry. And I love all the Balls Van Halen songs more than anybody. But that's a great song. It just is.
It is.
That is better than anything Foreigner ever wrote.
And you knew it the first time you heard it. You're like, holy shit. So yeah.
Uh-huh. And the way that Eddie played the keyboard, there was a different intro live in '86.
I'd love to see
if you guys remember that.
The New Haven version, the Live Without a Net version. That's what I'm. Yeah, good question.
I'm surprised they haven't pressed Live Without a Net as a live album just to pull it out from the archives and get it out as a piece of product.
Yeah. Well,
maybe they will. Wink, wink.
I mean, right now all the Sammy
they're watching
stuff
this
is on
right
hold.
now.
All that stuff's on hold right now. You're not going to find that in stores anytime soon.
Yeah. And also, I'll say this really quickly.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Oh, Johnny, are you here?
I'm here. Why's my iPod restarting? Dang it.
iPod. Who has an iPod?
What year
I've got
is
the classic. I've got the classic. It has freaking 20 million songs in it.
Maybe that's why it's restarting.
Yeah.
Recalculating.
Yeah.
I gotta pee.
I found the Live Without a Net guitar solo, the original one, without the part cut out.
Ooh.
And I was wrong. All these years I've been thinking that there's a blues solo in there. That's why they cut it out, because they did a blues solo in it, as we heard. John Biel played it. But the part they cut out, oh crap, it's on ABBA. Hang on. It's on Dancing Queen.
What's the source from this? Is it an audience recording?
No, it's a bootleg. It's from the
Like
actual
soundboard from some of the outtakes.
It's soundboard of the actual thing. I'll
So
play.
is Dreams? Is there a recording of
No.
Dreams from that?
No. Oh crap!
Should we start again?
It's telling me. Here's what it's
Damage.
doing. Oh, yeah. The thing doesn't.
Connect
Ah,
to the power.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's done.
Power.
We need more power. Come on. Give me the power.
Let me do. Come on.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you. I can't. The thing died, so I can't play it. Basically, in Live Without a Net, what they cut out when Eddie's playing 316, the only thing they cut out was him going dun 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 and doing some harmonics and a whammy bar. That's what they cut out.
Mm.
Yeah.
They didn't cut out as John Biel said, "Fure Elise."
That's how I've always pronounced it. Furlise, okay, Furlise.
Why would they
It's
cut
because it has the umlaut over
And
it.
I
just like Motorhead.
enjoy classical music myself, but and Bach and
Bach,
whatever.
Beethoven, Handel.
What
those
was
guys are awesome.
well, Beethoven was German. What was Bach? What was he? What nationality was he?
I don't know, man.
Maybe he was German.
John Biel.
John Biel.
I might be right.
He was German.
Vaz.
He was German.
Johann Sebastian Bach.
I love that it's Fure Elise because of the umlaut, like Motorhead. Motorhead.
No wait, Furlise was from Beethoven. Beethoven was German.
Yes, Beethoven was German.
And it's got the dots over the U. Doesn't that mean Fure?
Dave Beethoven as Bill and Ted call him.
That's what Bam Ozzy has.
Do you guys
They
ever? Everybody has seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, right?
No.
Yes.
Dude, the scene when they show up in the backyard and Mom is watering the plants with her tight spandex pants on. and they start introducing everybody to her. Bob Genghis Khan.
Bob.
Dave Beethoven.
All right. How to pronounce Furlise in German? You two.
Well, no, we're talking about how to pronounce it in English. In America.
You know it's pronounced. We talked about this. It's Ibanez.
Ibanez. But I'm not calling it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So
It is.
It doesn't matter how you pronounce it. We're going to call it Fure Elise.
The U in the first word actually has an umlaut, so it means it should be. You should accent on the vowel for you.
Wow.
Is it
You are
fur or fure? It's fur. Fure. Whatever. All right, whatever.
Because
I always called it Furlise, so it's Furlise.
Because there's an H. There's an H in Germany for the Y sound. F-U-H. Fure.
Yeah.
Like the Fure.
Whatever.
Like whatever.
whatever.
It's like whatever. It's 3:00 in the morning.
I'm still calling it Furlise.
What is there?
Of course you are.
What is it called?
Umlaut.
Is there one over the end of whatever?
Whatever. And he doesn't even say it like a New Englander.
Well, isn't Motley Crue is the umlaut over the U? What is it? Or it's over the
Yeah, but Motley Crue are not exactly
CR
grammatically
U,
correct. They just
yeah.
did it for the fun of it.
Well, I know that, but
Muttley.
Crew.
Well, that's
Fewer release. Okay, whatever. I'll shut up. I'll shut the fuck up.
Oh, we just got flagged.
no.
man.
This is great.
Wait,
Johnny, you said it first. I only said it because
get Mancuda in here.
Oh God!
yeah.
I started Caleb. I came on the show tonight with a Mancuda-esque action.
Oh my!
Yeah, and after I did it, I was like, "Holy shit! What the hell did I just do?" But it's not like a Tuesday or a Friday, so it's all right, you know.
It's a late show.
Yeah, it's the late show.
It's only late for you guys.
Yeah, fruitcake. I'll work on
Yeah.
that. I'll work on getting some more of these shirts out. We'll see, and
I'm bummed out. I don't have my Dave TV shirt anymore. It finally fell apart.
Dave
I had,
TV.
I had a great Dave TV shirt that I actually got from that show in Houma, Louisiana,
Oh, wow.
Says what?
in the late '90s.
Did you get that, Johnny?
Yeah, I heard it.
Little
Johnny,
Wayne's World,
yeah.
Huh?
You guys were talking about Inside yesterday.
Yeah.
Lyrics.
Uh-huh. Did you do some deep EQing?
I did some lyric searches.
the karaoke EQ setting. You know how Stern does the wrap-up show?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She got John BL and somebody to do a Johnny Beane TV wrap-up show. So after we go off the air,
That'll be my contribution.
yep, you jump on.
So Johnny was wrong about that date.
Yeah, you like the
Edward
the correction
played
guy
on
pardon the interruption.
1986. It's not Furlise. It's actually Furlise.
And Jay's the goddamn idiot. Why?
And Mancuda was talking about the cum shot in the show.
No, it's actually he hit her right in the left eye, not in the right eye.
What's up with the? Oh, never mind. I can't. Even.
Holy
Can't
crap.
believe I said that. Oh.
AI Gaming says, Jay, what are those black pickups in your blonde telly?
Yeah, let's talk about guitars.
You have a telly?
Where's the? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Where is it?
The blonde
Jay
telly.
has a- wait, stop the press. Jay has a
I wish I had a telly. No, that's a. I'll show it.
No, he thinks that's Jay. That's Jay right there. Where's your telly?
Oh.
Huh? He thinks I'm Jay?
Well, you've got a telly behind you.
No, I don't. That's a Wolfgang.
That's a Wolfgang.
Well, in the cabinet, there's a telly, isn't there?
Well, you
Well, I don't
No,
know.
can't see
Talking
it.
about that.
It's not blonde.
Yeah, what the hell's going on? I think he's trying to throw us off here.
The wrong
Never
show.
never
This is the
mind.
wrong show.
Sorry.
What guitar are you talking about? And
Johnny has a telly. He's the only one on the show right now who has a telly behind him.
but that's not
why
a
I thought-
telly.
Good night, Soda.
No, but in the cabinet. Never mind.
But
Just ignore me.
Maybe she
Someone's
wasn't blonde.
overtired.
he's got a pizza waiting. He has a sandwich waiting for
He has
him,
a salad.
No, I have a
Got a
salad.
salad tonight.
Oh.
Chicken salad.
right? Oh, how was that sandwich last week?
How boring. The salad.
Jesus Christ. You don't win friends with salad.
Salad.
You get made fun of by friends with salad.
Salad.
There's last week's Sammy.
Is that before or after?
What do you
Oh,
think? Good stuff.
oh, and barbecue.
Fire
chicken.
with them onions on there, huh?
Whatever.
So you're a foodie.
The cover on your microphone isn't there anymore because with the onions.
What? Is that your microphone?
Why do you take pictures of your food?
Wait, John, do that
Because
again.
everybody was asking about it last week, and I didn't put it on Discord, and I didn't put
is
it
true.
anywhere, and
Oh,
I
you know, there's a food.
but I did take a picture of it.
There's a section in the Discord where you can post your food.
But I didn't want to do that. But
Yeah,
I did take a picture of it anyway.
Jay was playing a telly with humbuckers a few months. The last time I actually touched the Telecaster was probably 2016. Hold on. Is he talking about this?
Which one? Which guy is A Game, and which guy do you think is Jay?
Is he talking about this thing? The Road
not a
War
telly.
CD? I mean, it can't be it, but maybe he thinks it is. You know?
Bring him
No,
on the
Jay
show.
is Jay.
Bring him on.
Yeah,
Bring
get
him
in
on. Get in here.
here. What the hell are you talking about?
Get in here. Get in here. Let's talk.
Let's talk tellies. They were the size of humbuckers anyway, not telly pickups. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I saw at Dane's shop, he's got an EVH stripes, red, black, and white stripes, and somebody routed it out and put a lipstick pickup in the neck position.
Oh,
It looks fucking awful. It is just terrible looking.
They did it on purpose.
No, they did. That's somebody, and he's selling it on consignment. And I'm like, who thought this was a good idea? He goes, I don't know.
Didn't he have? He had lipstick pickups on his double neck Music Man, didn't he?
he said he's gonna check search for the video and he'll get back. Dude, Telecaster. When the hell? I mean, a band I recorded in 2016 had a Telecaster, but that's the last time I can remember playing one. So, I don't know, man. I wish I had one though, because they sound very, unique. You can tell it's a Tele when you listen to one of those.
I have a traditional Pro, first year traditional Pro. You pop the coil taps out of it, gets pretty good Tele sounds out of it.
I thought it was earlier.
Not quite Strat tones, but a Tele tone, yeah, because it doesn't have that out of phase middle pickup.
Wintertime, a blonde Tele with black humbucker size pickups. You played it and it sounded amazing. Well, if I played it, it probably didn't sound amazing. I don't know, man. You sure it was me?
We'll have to look into that.
The only two contemporary players with Teles these days are obviously John Lowry and Jim Root.
John Fine.
Everybody else.
Oh, dude. You're right. A buddy of mine had a Jim Root Telecaster shipped here for me to check out.
Man.
I'm an
Good
idiot.
Good eye gaming.
John 5 plays a Tele, but I mean, it's got
John Lowry, yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
I didn't either.
I knew that. I knew it.
Of course you did, Johnny.
I did a tour with him and never met him.
He didn't put out the album. He had an album from a band. I have the advanced pressing of it. The band was called Loser.
Mm-hmm.
And it never got released because it was supposed to come out right after he left Manson's band, and this was supposed to come out, and then he ended up joining Rob Zombie's band, so the record company shelved the record, but I have an advanced copy of it. It's pretty friggin' good. His guitar playing's phenomenal.
Oh, it really is.
No, it's
Great
Other
player.
Planet playing.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who makes you want to quit.
He's got the it.
Yeah. There's several guys out there now that want to quit.
Yeah, John BL sent me this. Thank you again, John. Ozfest 05. Is he on
Oh, there you go.
the cover here? Well, I'm sure he isn't, but is Rob Zombie anywhere on the cover?
No, but Rob Zombie's from my hometown.
So there's the.
Is that Zombieland?
Mm-hmm.
I put it close. What side is that?
Yeah, Rob Zombie Dracula.
So
What's that sound in the back?
see number
That's
10.
the sound of
That's like
a
feedback.
hissing sound is the sound of my dog eating a ball here.
Okay. I just didn't know it.
Look at track 9, right?
Yeah, that's this.
The second
My
stage.
dog.
Track 9 is the second stage.
Track 11 was Zombie right after Gizmachi.
Yeah, 11 and 12 are Zombie, but 10 is my band.
Gizmachi,
Oh.
baby.
Awesome.
But I'm telling you, like Rob Zombie is on the thing getting interviewed saying, something about like, second stage, like I forget what the hell he says something. And I'm like, dude, you never once like came and hung out,
There's
introduced
some great
yourself to
bands at the
anybody.
second stage.
He like showed up, stayed in his trailer, came and played the show, and then he was gone. Like he never hung out with anybody. So
All right, quick, everybody. Guitar players that make you want to quit.
There you go. There's that record, by the way.
oh, you got it.
In the chat, guitar players that make you want to quit.
Thomas McRockland.
Thomas Rockland.
I love the Bad for Good record.
Taya Sasato.
Jay Hannon.
Who else?
Caleb Rappaport.
Stop.
Dude, If I could play like you guys, you guys don't
Please.
don't
I do
under something
thing.
yourself.
These guys are ridiculous. I watch on here.
No.
Yeah. Nuno has that cool factor, like that. It's.
He makes it look effortless. He makes it look. It just comes through him.
Yeah.
And he can do everything.
Like Vi is very similar. Like.
Yeah, but Nuno has a funk that Vi doesn't have.
Mhm.
Nuno has a soul. Nuno has a soul, has a groove. There's something.
Mhm.
There's something in Nuno that is, and maybe it's because he's not formally trained. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That he, like some of those people that are just prodigies, he's worked his way around it because nobody showed him the right way to do it, so he just learned how to do it, and that's his thing.
Well, and Nuno is on the Eddie Van Halen plane as far as
he's always, he's the one that I said if Eddie couldn't play with Van Halen anymore, and they were looking for somebody, I would get Nuno.
Nuno.
It would have to be Nuno.
Vito could do it too.
Yeah, but
where's Vito?
Right. No, I know. I'm just saying, but he'd be that guy too. Either Vito or Steve, what's his face from Autograph?
Caleb Rappaport,
I don't know who that is.
Not.
That's right.
So funny.
No, and then I saw something after that little hiccup or whatever a couple weeks ago. And then Caleb commented something on Facebook, and Paul responded with like, "Wait, who are you?" And for that split minute, I was like, "Holy shit, he's serious!" I was like, "Oh, that's right. I'm an idiot. It's from the show. I forgot."
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Yeah, it was so funny.
And you are.
And
this is regarding
before that all got deleted. Yeah.
Chapstick.
AI Gaming says Buckethead.
Yeah, Buckethead for sure.
Thomas McLaughlin.
Jay, you know that guy? What's his name? Wesley something. His name's Westkill on Instagram. I think I've tagged you a few times. He's a Kiesel player.
Oh, well, then I probably unfollowed him by now.
West Borland?
No, he's just like a crazy. He's a McLaughlin type. He's ridiculous. Look him up. Westkill.
Yeah, I don't follow him.
He's insane.
Yeah, some of the best guitarists out there are YouTube guys and people who really aren't rock stars.
This guy?
I've mentioned him a couple of times.
Yes. That guy.
Paul DiBartolo from Spread Eagle is a phenomenal guitar player, but nobody knows who he is.
Mike Himmel is really good. He's an amazing Eddie Tone kind of guy.
DiBartolo has Eddie tendencies. If you Google or YouTube Bang Summertime, I think we talked about this before, about how it's a complete ripoff of So This Is Love. You can hear a lot of Eddie in his playing, and then you can hear it on the Spread Eagle records as well, but more aggressive. He changed his name to Salvador Poe, and is now doing like motivational speaking and new age philosophy.
Are you watching,
and stuff
Jay?
Like that.
Jay, are you watching?
I'm looking at something else, and I'm like, what is wrong with this planet? I wish I could show you guys, but I can't.
You wait for the Tuesday show?
No, I would never talk about this type of thing publicly.
Oh, okay.
Just, things we don't understand. But here is one of my favorite guitar players, our buddy Larry Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Who is just not only a great guitar player, but a great human being.
Yes.
Yeah,
he did a clinic at
awesome.
Dane Shop a couple months back.
Cool. Yeah, I introduced him to Philip McKnight.
And that's how Dan got him, was through McKnight.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hanging out with McKnight outside of at NAM at 6 o'clock. They kick you out, right? And you're standing there outside, and McKnight and I were standing there just BSing, and Larry Mitchell comes walking by, and I'm like, Larry, come here. I introduce them, and that looks like Caleb.
Hey. Is that what you were looking at that you can't talk about?
Yeah.
That was
Caleb, can you tell which song you're playing by what your outfit is at that point?
my
Because
outfit.
don't you guys change your outfits throughout the show? Don't you
We're
kind of
not changing outfits yet.
My outfit.
No,
don't you start like nerds and then you start
That-
going
yeah,
into
that
like
was
rock
really-
star stuff?
That was an idea that we haven't gotten to because the set's just not long enough. I think when we get into like 90-minute territory, there'll be
Not there because something else ain't long enough.
What's that?
Don't you change underwear after every solo?
I can tell where my hands are, what song I'm playing.
What were you playing there?
Let me see again.
Oh, come on, man. Now you're asking too much. Hold on, let me go back to Nerd Halen here. You
do realize Caleb can say anything and we're not going to question it.
You probably posted this damn thing and you're asking me. Come on, bun of a sitch.
God. All right. So that was early. That's
I don't have any sweat running down my brow. Oh,
it's Unchained. That's
is it?
early. Yeah, I'm in D. Yeah.
What about this song? When you're not playing anything.
Oh shit. I'm tuning. That's between songs.
Talk about an action photo, huh?
Yeah. I'm giving the evil eye to the sound guy for fucking up the keyboards.
Yeah,
How about this? What are you playing here, Mr. Space Wolf?
Oh, probably. I'll wait.
Is that when what's his name again?
Hal
undoes his tie.
Yeah,
you know what that is.
He's got to show the body, man. He works hard on that body. So
yeah, I bet he does. How about this one?
My dog is pissed at me because I just gave the ball to the other dog.
That is, I believe that's.
God damn it with this friggin' thing.
I think that's All Wait too.
How about back here? Will it focus back here? There we go.
It's that light.
I'm trying to get it. How about that?
I don't know what.
What song were you playing there?
I don't know. That's Rob. By the way, that's Rob Lontock, and he's our second string bass player. So we have a guy that fills in for Victor because Victor is like the busiest guy in rock and roll. Victor actually played all the summer Dokken gigs.
Whoa.
Which was
so he's probably playing that show. Is he playing with Dokken now?
No, because Chris McCarville's back. What happened? Chris had a bad mountain biking accident like in June where he wrecked his shoulder. So they somehow got to Victor to get him to fill in through July, August, and September. And then what happened was Chris came back at the end of September, and they weren't sure that he was ready. So Victor had to be ready to play this weekend for Dokken.
Yeah, that's where Zimmerman is now. We were a couple of weeks ago when Dane was on the show, and he said he was doing that band was opening for Dokken. Mm-hmm. That shows this weekend.
Yeah,
I don't know if I think it might be tonight.
So we had to go with Rob because I just didn't want to have Don call Victor Friday morning and say I need you in tonight, and then obviously Victor's going to play that gig because he's going to make 38 times as much. So that's why we use Rob, and Rob's great because Rob's actually our drummer's best friend, and they play in another Van Halen tribute together. So he knows everything and he's great. So thank you, Rob. And Rob will be playing with us again in January. We just booked a new show at the Gas Lamp in Long Beach, January 11th. I haven't announced that yet, but I just did. So,
so you have replacement musicians for everybody.
So it's like Menudo.
I definitely had to get one for Victor. I haven't had to use one for anybody else. Obviously, we've only done 5 full shows, but I do have, I have someone that in mind for Jeff, for the drummer. If I can't use Jeff, who's a guy his name's Joe Travers. He plays with Dweezil and he plays with Satriani, and he's a busy guy. But he loved the concept. He plays at the Jam all the time. He's in the house band at the Jam and the Ultimate Jam night. So he was like, "I'll do that in a second." So I got him.
That's
and then
cool.
And then for Hal, actually, I have a friend, an old theater buddy who lives in Tampa, who I actually tried to get before I found Hal, because he was like the perfect singer for it, I thought, and I still think he'd be great, and I still think he could actually fill in for Hal if Hal and when Hal has a conflict, because I know Hal will eventually. So, and we'll have gigs, so there might be that situation. So, and then it was funny because I think was it last night that we were talking about this, and someone said, "Well, no one can fill in for you," and I'm like, "Actually, yes." So
now you're officially Kiss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of bands do this.
Huh?
They do. They have people playing on different nights for whatever reason.
Well, that would be cool if you were so busy doing something else.
Well, like if I got sick or if I hurt my hand or something, and we had a booking, we're getting paid. We're gonna play. I'm gonna have I'll have Brandon do it. I'll have Frankie Lindia do it. He'd do it in a second. So
let me just chime in real fast. We got 60 people watching, but there's like 5 people commenting. Come on, let's get this chat bumping here.
Yeah, I hope.
Come on, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, for Christ's sake.
Wake the fuck up.
The rest have like Fure Elise posters on their wall.
Fure Elise is my favorite German porn star.
Elise, yeah.
I'm not saying Fure. I'm saying Fure Elise.
Whatever your name is, Dizzy Bubbles. You're not banned, man. We see.
Oh, shadow band.
He's dying over there. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'm listening to Johnny snicker because he can't laugh out loud.
Yeah, he's gonna get that open.
Right.
Oh, I was getting yelled at 2 hours ago.
He's laughing out his eyes. You can see the water coming out of his eyes. Like the more
Paul and John, you guys were here last week when I said, wouldn't it be awesome if Johnny's wife had, like on the Stern Show, whenever Gary chimes in, it sounds like he's on an intercom.
Yeah.
You have Johnny's wife. Johnny, please, could you please shut up out there? For Christ's sake, I'm trying to sleep in here.
So Fruitcake Tony, Caleb, did you get asked to audition for Roth's band? No. That would be crazy.
But he has your number.
You said it in the chat, and I think people ran with it.
That would be crazy. And you know what? I don't know what I would do, because I think the last thing I'd ever want to do is piss off my hero. I would not want to do it.
Yeah, but do you think he would actually get, like, it's not like you're close personal friends with him where it's like,
I just don't. It's weird. Like, I remember when
it's for the same reason that Gary Sharon didn't take the Queen gig.
Yeah, it's well, he's not going to piss off Freddie, but
no, but you know what I mean, though. It's a respect thing for the guy that is your biggest influence or hero.
I just I wouldn't want Eddie to ever have the moment of going, so who's doing it? And then they go, oh, they got this Caleb Rappaport guy from Nerd Halo. fuck that guy.
Now he'd probably be like, oh, well,
Don't want that moment ever happening in my life.
You don't think he says that about everybody that's playing his shit?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's the toughest thing. I had this conversation with somebody earlier today. They were asking me something about the rumors and stuff, and I said, look, it is what it is, and we'll find out when we find out. And they said, well, it just seems so bad. It's a shame that he never did this or he never had a chance to do that. I go, first of all, he's not done. And secondly, he did have the chance to do that. It's really difficult when your favorite band is populated by people who are kind of assholes. When you got people that they obviously they don't owe us anything, but they have the opportunity to do whatever they want and they choose not to. So don't cry for them. They're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that's the sort of the same idea. You show this respect to somebody who is your biggest influence and obviously your hero. But that a lot of those guys, and I'm not going to use Ed as an example, but I know there are other famous musicians that are pissed off that other guys are playing their riffs or playing in tribute bands or anything like that and copping their shit. You know?
I do know from secondhand that they are aware of what I'm doing and they think it's cool. So
which is great.
That's kind of nice, And I actually was able to tell Alex face to face about the idea and he loved it. So that's I have that. But really,
yeah.
I can't imagine those guys in the Roth thing are making that much money. I just can't. So it would take just a lot of money for me to say, okay, I'll do it, as opposed to just getting shit money and being that guy. Because like right now, everyone is just trashing that product. And I wouldn't want that to be me. I just wouldn't.
But there's the difference, though. It's like, I think 2 reasons why it's being trashed is because obviously, Roth's voice isn't what it used to be, which I think we all are in agreement there. And you got a guy playing a, 3 single coil Fender Stratocaster playing Eddie's licks. And it's like,
three guys.
You got 3 guys playing strats.
Well, I'm just saying, but the main guy, I think, the guy that's closest to Dave, who arguably is maybe the lead guitarist, but it doesn't sound, maybe he doesn't want anybody on there playing Eddie's like guitars. Maybe that's part of it, but
it's weird.
I think that the way this is being rolled out too, and the way Dave has handled the press has also put a real bad stink on it. This one more than others, this one more than, all the shows we talked about earlier, just the way he's approached it publicly has been interpreted by everybody. And I had this conversation with another person in the radio station this week about, maybe he got the green light and maybe this is his way to do this thing. But the way it's being interpreted is he's lifting his leg on the legacy of the band. And I think that automatically casts a dark shadow over it. And anybody associated with it is going to get that stink on him.
It's the 2 separate headlines that David Lee Roth has had in the last month. Playing Vegas, Van Halen's done. So how do you think he's going to benefit from that? If Van Halen's done, player, the only place you can go see it is to go see Dave in Vegas. Is that not that it's true.
Well,
but
knowing how we kind of have this perception of how like it when somebody, whether it be Sammy or Dave, says something, how like, oh shit, Eddie's probably pissed at that. Can any of the things you've read in the headlines as far as what Roth said, I don't think any of us read them and was like, oh, okay, everything's probably fine then. No, I think all were like, oh shit, what is going on? Is he out? Is Van Halen done? Is all this stuff? So I just think, it's one of those things where
I was talking to Jay yesterday or 2 days ago, and I have a theory.
We talked about this for like a half hour.
Yeah, I have a theory about what's the whole thing that's going on right now, and just there's tells from what's going on. What Paul actually lived through on his show, to what else Dave said since, but what it glue the flap, awesome. here's what I think happened, and I do think that Eddie's illness factored in because it obviously stalled ideas and whatnot. But I think Irving Azoff came to Dave and said, I want to do the both singers package. And Dave said, and fuck that, and said no. And then the guys took that as, well, then we want to do something with Sammy. And Dave was like, fuck you guys. And then they said, well, fuck you. We're going to do something with Sammy. And then Dave is doing all this stuff in the last few months to get ahead of what's coming.
But wouldn't you think, though, given the business acumen of Irving Azoff, don't you think Irving Azoff would put out a press release to say David Lee Roth is no longer a member of Van Halen to try and step on that, given the people that he works for, given he's not stupid. Azoff is obviously one of the smartest guys in the business and has been for decades. Don't you think that if that were the case, he would say Van Halen and Dave are done? Because that would start the groundswell of, all right, Sammy's coming back. And that would be press and PR that you can't buy.
Well, but I don't think that maybe they've actually come to terms with Sammy.
But did anybody else notice in those pictures that the Cabo Wabo and Sammy and Michael Anthony were posting? Michael Anthony looks like he's in pretty good shape. The second I saw that, I was like, oh, shit.
You know, and then there's the Wolfgang.
And they are playing a lot of Van Halen in that set.
And there's a Wolfgang factor. You know, they're saving Wolfgang still. What are they saving him for?
Well, I've suggested this before, and I don't know if you guys. I don't know. No. I think this gives an opportunity for Eddie to have a moment to trade guitar licks with his kid, because even though he's a bass player,
no, I think
Gary and Mike.
I think
even though he's a bass player, there's still that missing element of Eddie having that moment he never really had with his father outside of Big Bad Bill, where he and Wolf can sit on stage with guitars and trade licks back and forth.
I think Wolfgang is going to play guitar in his band. Mm-hmm. I do think that.
And therein lies the opportunity for Wolf to get on stage with Dad as the headliner with his band opening. That gives an opportunity for them to go out and pass the torch, so to speak, one more time. That's assuming Ed's health issue is not something that's going to preclude him from being on the road.
Yeah. Well,
but then Wolf comes out and does, and that gives everybody an opportunity to do a thing.
It does. And you know, I think Eddie's main thing right now would be to, you know, springboard his son's career into something for himself. And what perfect way than to have the Van Halen product, you know, surrounding it. And the biggest tell here is that record has been in the can for 2 years, coming up in December, and nothing. So they're waiting.
And the silence speaks volumes from all fronts.
Mm-hmm. The silence is always before something. So,
well, can I just chime in on Dutchy 5150's comment? He says there is a better chance of Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono sex tape being released than Hagar getting back in Van Halen. You know what, Dutchy?
Not true.
I was talking to Caleb about this, and I think maybe Johnny as well. Like, the one thing that can make Eddie Van Halen talk to Sammy again, Eddie Van Halen being pissed David Lee Roth.
Dave just did.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If Eddie still wants to, if whatever's going on with Van Halen, as far as who's sick, whatever's going on there, I'm not going to get into that. If Eddie Van Halen wants to continue playing, it has to be either with Dave or Sammy. And if Dave pissed Eddie off, Sammy's it, you know? Especially if his kid wants to play.
Right. And just look
like we got to go out, Pop.
Look at how cryptic Dave has been with Paul, like with these guys on the radio. He's saying that Van Halen, which he always considered what? His version of Van Halen, right? It's if it's going forward, it's going forward with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
De facto, right? Wasn't that his
Yeah.
de facto?
So that means that something other than him may be coming.
Well, and that's the phrase you touch on there. Is the most recent comment was a little bit more elaborate, a little bit more definitive. Van Halen will not be coming back in the way that you're used to, or in the way that it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, he's not saying it's not coming back,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not coming back. Is it coming back with me? Coming back with Sammy? Coming back? He didn't say Van Halen's not coming back.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
So
very
there is
specific.
that open. There is that open door, and Dave, as we've all said before, is no dummy. He knows what he's saying.
Oh yeah,
Almost at all times. He's very calculated and rehearsed.
a lot, but he says nothing. But at the same time, it's
Cryptic.
very cryptic. But he knows what he's doing. He's not an idiot.
So there could be a Van Halen, but it's not coming back in what you expect, or anything. So, in other words, it's not coming back with him and Mike, obviously, or he'd be touting that from the rooftops. And it's probably not coming back with him and Wolfgang, because that would be the way you're used to it for the past 10 years.
And all I can say to that comment about like Sammy would, it'll never happen. Yeah, well, Dave and Eddie were never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is a business.
Yep. It ain't show friends. It's show business.
Do you think Dave's a little bit in the dark as far as what the big picture is himself?
No.
So that leads me to believe that Ed being really sick or anything, I don't think Dave would have said something like that if, putting an end to the whole thing. If I don't know how.
Here's what I think. I think Ed's illness was really bad a year ago, and that's when they were planning.
That's what I'm looking for, is like the clues as far as how he's doing.
So the illness basically killed what Dave wanted to do and was preparing to do. And now they're going in a different direction. That's what it seems like.
Well, Caleb and I talked yesterday, like we talked about before. And I think, in my opinion, like Sammy has been, up until about a few months ago, right? Every interview he's done.
A lot of Van Halen talk.
A lot of Van Halen talk. And then over the past couple months, he's done interviews, but he's kind of not said much about the Van Halen stuff.
That's cryptic.
Other than that one quote, which is
the last show.
In the circle, we play Van Halen music as good as we ever did in Van Halen. That's the one statement that I bet Sammy wishes he could take back, given what you just mentioned.
But he's also just trying to say my game is there if they need me, or when they need me. So
he did say that thing a few weeks ago about, if I could do one last show or something, it would be with Van Halen or something like that.
But he then followed it up with, I don't want to go back to that thing full time because that's not an environment that I want to be in. It's just too messed up. So Sammy again is another guy that is kind of his own worst enemy.
Oh yeah.
He says one thing and then follows it up with something he thinks is cute.
Eddie kicking out the trying to smash the windows of an airplane.
Right. Yeah.
Air,
Well, and that's why half jokingly I say Gary, because Ed actually gets along with Gary, and it would be cool to see him on stage with somebody who he really gets along with, or he can get along with. But the Dave and the Sammy thing.
But then they're playing.
I mean, I know I'm half. It's half of a joke. I mean, it's not going to happen, but it.
I mean, I'd rather. At this point, I'd prefer to see that over Roth, because I just know Roth's voice isn't there.
Yeah. That's my point.
But still, I think the majority of the fans, they wouldn't.
No, absolutely. But the way I thought about it in 1999 or 1990, what was it, 7 when 3 came out? I mean, I didn't want anything to do with it. But nowadays, I'd go see that.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I always
that's
thought
where you find them at the state fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's a point to that too. Is I understand that.
I think Gary's great with Extreme, but I think Gary was just Eddie trying to make Gary sound like Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Van Halen.
If you go back and you watch that, you want to talk about, we were watching DVDs. Go back and watch that Pornography 25 in Vegas show. fucking Extreme is killing it. They're so tight, so good. That band is so good. I don't know that I would want to trade that for a tour with Van Halen, because that has longevity to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Extreme can go to Japan and make the kind of money that he would make with Van Halen in 6 months.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of those bands that can do that. Obviously, Extreme, Mr. Big, those bands that can do well in Japan. Why put up with a world tour with Van Halen that we already know is not going to be a long-term thing, and that a lot of people are going to react negatively to, when you can take that band Extreme that you just resurrected and it's getting so much more respect now than it did the first time around.
And no one's going to pay to see, oh, they're doing Without You. Yes.
No, I mean, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't even would they even get away with playing the songs from 3?
Oh my God, Dirty Water Dog. Yes.
Yay, Year to the Day. 8 minutes of that. 8 minutes of Gary Sharon singing West Side Story music. And I love Gary. He's a friend of mine. I love him. He's a great dude, but like A Year to the Day, come on.
Yeah.
That was the you could get up, take a piss, get a beer, and buy a T-shirt and come back, and they'd just be through the second verse. That song went on way too long.
That whole record, like what are all these parts? Like Edward, what are all these parts, Ed? What are all these
That's
parts?
the Eddie Van Halen solo record that everybody says he should do. Oh, he should do a solo record. He did.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
Did Jay tap out? Is he done?
I don't know. I guess too much Gary talk.
Gary talk. That's enough.
I have to use the bathroom too.
I do too.
I can call it.
Yeah,
I'm good to call it. So.
Yeah, I can't talk anymore. I'm gonna get
I have to pee.
yelled at.
Let's call it, boys.
Let's call it.
I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Oh,
I can't wait.
I got it.
We all have to pee.
We'll have to call it.
Wait, I have to pee. Why am I here?
Hey, John, how are you?
It's you and me.
It's you and me.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, Jay's back.
But I honestly think, like, when Dave got back in the band, all the stories about them on the, all the tours and stuff that, they never got along again. It was just see on stage type of thing,
Yeah.
And even in my opinion, like even watching like the YouTube videos of them playing, it's like you could tell.
I have a hard time enjoying it when you watch them and they're not not really communicating on stage or getting along, It's
like Eddie has that smirk on his face.
Especially when you've seen Unleashed and you've seen Live Without a Net, where you can tell
his chemistry.
Yeah. And
I think, Eddie doesn't like Roth doesn't like Eddie, and they don't really give a crap. Where I think even if, right now, Eddie might not like Sammy, but I think if they got back into a room together, I think with Sammy's personality and his energy and just his positivity,
bury the hatchet.
Eddie might be like, yeah, whatever, man. It's fine.
Well, what's interesting is Eddie has been sort of manipulated his whole life. We talked about this before too. His brother has sort of been his overseer, and then Roth was sort of his overseer, and Sammy was his overseer. And then the one time he tried to sort of break out on his own and do his own thing was the Van Halen 3 record, and that got fucking panned. So I imagine for somebody like him, who's already somewhat insecure publicly with anything other than his music, other than holding a guitar in his hand, because you can see it whenever he's doing an interview or anything. If he doesn't have a guitar in his hand, he's fidgety. He's just doesn't want to be anywhere near that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Eddie has a plan on his own other than his guitar company, because his guitar company, he can sort of be in a room and be away from everybody, and he can be the alpha male in the room. But when he's got anybody in the room outside of Gary, who was thankful to be there and a good soldier, you know, guys that sing in bands have to have a little bit of an alpha in them.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Oh,
it doesn't work.
Oh, I know. I have one.
Right. Of course you do.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing,
yes, lead singer disease is a good thing.
Mhm.
It's a good thing and a
To
bad thing. It's a
to
good
certain
thing.
extent.
Publicly on stage, it's a great thing.
Great thing. But off stage, it's
Yeah, but off stage, it can be very difficult. I say this as a guy who's a lead singer in a band. I was a pain in the ass to work with.
I'm not saying Hal's different off stage. I think Hal's awesome all the way around. I just know he's got a lot of things going on in that head, and that's how he operates, you know. And I have to negotiate that. So it's interesting. I mean,
No, but that's everybody.
That's
everybody that does that. When you choose, you can't. When you're a singer, you can't hide behind a guitar. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form.
no.
This is your instrument.
Mm-hmm.
It's very vulnerable, and you're exhausted after a show. That's why a lot of singers don't grab gear. It's not because they're egotistical pricks, although some of them are, but it's because you're literally physically exhausted and you just need to get off stage and try to recuperate. But they're also real creative and very sensitive and very insecure about certain things. So when they get into a room and they start, you know, for those guys that have never dealt with lead singers, they start yelling at guitar players. They start yelling at bass players. They want everything to be a certain way. I don't know that plays well with Edward Van Halen.
Yeah.
It probably did 30 years ago. It probably did, but now you're not the same guy you were when you were 20.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I ain't taking shit from nobody.
Right.
Metal Mike says, "You think Eddie laughed when Dave busted his nose on Jimmy Kimmel?" No, I think he was probably like, "Are you
embarrassed?"
kidding me?
Right. Absolutely.
I felt bad for him. It's all you can see
Bad
it.
for Dave.
You can see it. You can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the outtakes of that.
Yeah, I think he felt bad for Van Halen.
They're launching their product.
Like it's a joke.
They're launching their product, and he probably always thought that spinning baton shit was stupid.
Dumb anyway.
Look what it is.
Even my dad was like, "What the hell's Roth doing up there?" And then he smashes his nose to his cheek.
Not the first time, though.
That's what I was going to say. I think when
1979.
I saw them, I think that's happened a couple times to him.
And we all know that as you grow
I think it
older,
happened in Connecticut in 03, just before the show, the 03 show that I saw.
and our noses and ears grow until we die. So it's getting closer to his baton, but each year it's getting.
I noticed that with Sammy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sammy gets older. Yep,
I got a big honker too, and I'm like, shit. By the time I'm, like 70, it's gonna be like,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be like this.
but that's like Floyd. Let's say Floyd Mayweather is coming back and he's fighting, I don't know, Canelo or something like that. It's their big moment, and the ring walk is about to happen, and the lights go down, and the smoke comes up, the dry ice comes up, and the curtain comes open, and he takes 4 steps and trips and falls on his fucking face. That's what that was.
Yep.
That was their hello, everybody. It's Van Halen.
And then to top it off, the next show on Jimmy Kimmel, he shows a replay of it, like slow motion, reverse, back and forth. You see the baton hitting his nose hitting his cheek, going back. It's like it turned into a big gag, I doubt Eddie wanted any of that.
And then, of course, the Plant dance partner was so hokey.
Yeah.
I would have believed it if I didn't see it 2 days later on Ellen.
Yep.
So, it's kind of like the years ago when Stone Temple Pilots were still together and Scott Weiland would kick the guy out of the show. You fucking asshole, get out of my show.
That was all made up.
Yeah.
It's all that's all Vince McMahon.
Like the first time I thought, because I didn't really study those 2003 Roth shows, with the bleach blonde and the shiny suits, but the first time I really thought like, wow, this has really jumped the shark was when he calls girls hot stuff. Hey, hot stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's not cool anymore. It's creepy.
Who calls people hot stuff?
65-year-old men.
I call my wife hot stuff from time to time.
Hey, hot stuff.
But I guess I'm a creepy old man now, so it's all right.
You know what Dave's stage rap? So I'm sitting here and I'm staring at a really good-looking gal.
Yeah, I haven't said that yet.
Gal.
Yeah. Another 20 years and I'll start saying stuff like that.
More tells, right, Paul? More tells.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, none of us are getting any younger.
Well, remember the rehearsal show they had, and Roth was wearing the old school Sammy Hagar / Chris DeGarmo, headset mic.
Yeah, the headset. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
wore that at Henson Studios.
I remember watching that, thinking, if this fool goes on tour and he's using that, he's gonna look like a bigger.
Well, he because he wanted to do more dance moves on that
his Al Jolson thing
on his dance floor.
Whose decision was it, Dave? You look.
You know what happened? But it kept failing, so they scrapped.
It probably had Eddie on the. Keep unplugging it. Keep unplugging it.
Yeah, no, he kept yelling at the monitor guy.
Every video you watch from that tour,
showing the real
last couple
Dave.
tours, he's always yelling at the monitor guy.
You want to see the real Dave? Watch him berate the crew.
Really?
Yeah. It's
several occasions.
Go back and listen to the live record.
Yeah, when he says
the Tokyo Dome.
Spotlight, asshole.
Spotlight, asshole.
Yeah.
Open your eyes. Spotlight, asshole. That was like, what? That's on the record.
Yeah. I told you I used to work with Matt Sensio, and he said it was real. It was a real difficult job for him.
Dave didn't tour with a lighting director in 2003. So our house lighting director did lights. I did Spotlight for 2003.
So that's who he was talking to.
Yeah, he was probably definitely
asshole.
Man.
Fury release, asshole.
Oh, shit. And with that,
it's salad time.
Sure.
Salad talk. But John, you didn't get to talk to him like face to face, right?
No, not really. I mean, I went on I brought him a case of alcohol. I don't know what it was, like a case of Jack Daniels or something on his bus. That was about it.
Because we know this ain't iced tea.
Yeah, it was just professional. That was it.
Yeah, because when they played the Chance or whatever it was, like everybody after the show went outside and was waiting around his bus, and of course he wasn't. No, he wasn't going to mingle.
All right, I'm gonna go.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's 4:00.
It's getting late.
Well, unless you got a live shot of the sun coming up, I'm done.
What?
Look at Johnny. Look at like the sun's about to come up on your side. So
not quite, but
56. What is that watch?
It's my daughter loves Minnie and Mickey Mouse, so I have that as one of the faces of the watch. So.
Oh, you have different faces?
Yeah.
It's a Disney watch?
That's the one I usually have. It's just the normal,
The Apple
the Minnie Mouse part. So.
Oh, it's an Apple Watch? I don't know.
Yeah. Another stupid thing we don't need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own a watch. So.
My last watch before this one was a Swatch watch. Remember those?
Yep.
Yeah. And I used to wear it
plastic wristband.
the hip way, where you have.
Was it Desert Sun Yellow?
No. No, I had a hot pink band, and then I had
shocking pink
jellyfish, which was just the clear. You just saw all the mechanical stuff on the inside.
Mm.
But
but
I wore it cool. I wore the face of the watch on this side, the inside.
Right. So you can see while you're fretting, you can see what time.
Yes. So you crack it against the neck.
How much time do we have left?
Yeah, that's what Eddie wore in
that
89.
Yellow one. Yeah, that
yellow one, and the Feel So Good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember.
Did you put the Band-Aid on your finger too?
And Mike had his chronograph. Get my nice new chronograph watch. Anyone? That's another Unleashed thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was Randy Savage behind you, but that's Josephus. Never mind.
Or Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Speaking of Michael Anthony, I'm telling you guys, go look at those pictures. There's one picture of him with Sammy's behind him, Michael Anthony's in front. I don't know if he's lifting his arms up or doing something, and I'm like, Mike's getting in shape, man.
I was watching them live last night in one of the Sammy Hagar groups on Facebook. Somebody was streaming from the front row at their show last night.
Oh, we got to get Steve Anderson on
And
have him to talk about it. He was there, right?
he was there. I was texting with Steve. Yeah.
We got to get a post game from him.
Mm-hmm. And
there was one part. Well, I think somebody tossed up one of those 50-on-50 caps, and Sammy put it on for a while, and then he signed it and threw it back, which is pretty cool.
Oh, by the way, cheesiest part of the 04 tour was Sammy just signing shit from the stage. that was just oof. Just like he had it.
You don't think
is that easier than Sweetheart or Gal?
It's up there, but I mean, dude, signing with a Sharpie while you're doing a show.
Right, because he knew it was over. He knew the band was done. He's like, screw it. I'm sorry, everybody should. So that wasn't the cheesiest. Wait, that was the cheesiest part, not the on stage left, the smell of Fremunda cheese.
Oh God.
Probably, those army pants that Eddie wore.
Oh God.
If he's watching right now, I'm gonna feel really bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I skipped 04. I didn't even want to go.
Mm.
I went.
I was there.
I was super excited to go. And
I didn't want to see it.
I just knew, especially when Eddie went into Runaround, the intro, I was like, what is going on stage?
What song is that?
Something wrong with his guitar?
I think I have both nights of the Worcester show on that tour on disc here somewhere. I think they're audience recordings, but they're not good. And not because they're audience recordings.
No, yeah. It's a shame.
Well, hey, did anybody think in 2004 that Eddie would still be alive by 2020?
Oh, no, I don't even think he did.
Nope.
That's a good point. But hopefully,
it's funny. It's funny because I didn't think of Eddie being the one that would be dealing with health problems, given the neck brace that Al had going for so many years, and the sweaty neck brace. That thing was fucking disgusting too.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, and plus he does the whole garlic thing. So just imagine how he smells after every show.
Wait, what does he do?
Oh, he eats like a pound of garlic every night before he goes on stage, as like a ritual.
Al does?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how he staves off any kind of illness too. I mean,
Al's a weird guy, Ace. A weird guy.
He is very strange. But,
well, we're all strange in our own right,
But
Yeah, but I thought he had such orthopedic issues with that neck brace thing. I thought, okay, I thought he'd be the guy to break down. Because let's face it, we were talking about earlier, drummers are obviously they're going to have more joint issues than anybody else.
Right. And that's the most physical instrument. So,
All right. Anyway. So John BL, you ready for the wrap-up show?
Yeah.
To wrap up?
No.
The analysis, we'll do the commentary of the show. I'll go live after this.
Yeah, it'll just be you.
You got to.
It'll be John Beal the next 3 hours talking about this show.
The Mystery Science Theater wrap-up show.
No, I'm gonna call it shortly.
You gonna eat that salad?
Yeah.
Salad time.
All right, boys. Always fun.
I thought someone else was just joining. I saw that all the screens pull back.
Oh yeah.
Nesdall's coming in.
Nesdall.
There we go.
Oh,
look, the duck is right in John's face.
That's all right. It's better.
Duck face.
Hey, Caleb.
Hey.
Hey, that's a good name for your cat, Johnny.
Huh?
Ned's doll.
Ned doll.
Ned's doll.
Ned's doll.
Ned's
Ned
doll.
doll.
Oh, there's Ned.
Yeah,
Ned.
Ned's doll.
There he
Hi,
is.
Ned.
Ned's always cleaning himself. He's a very clean cat.
He's so cool, man. That dude.
You're in love. Johnny's in love.
Kitty.
He's so cool. He loves Howie so much too. It's
He's
amazing.
planning your demise right now.
Ned's doll.
R2, R3. Dear Lord, you guys are still on.
Yeah, but we're getting off, and I'm going to be getting off in a minute.
We're trying not to be.
Yeah. All right. Send us home.
All right.
Somebody's already getting off, huh?
No, that's still my dog with us.
Oh, sure it is.
See?
Jeez.
It's funny. I just did that, and Lemmy came in. She's got another one in her mouth. She's like, "Oh, is there more?"
Squirrel.
Wow. Okay, well, I can't talk, but I'll just say, hey, everybody, thanks for watching this, and subscribe, leave thumbs, come back next time, Tuesday. Tuesday should be good. And I know Nesdal was not actually here, but it looks like we'll be having Andy Timmons at some point.
Yes.
Pretty soon. He was hanging out with Andy tonight, and
last night.
and
Nice.
last night. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but Andy wants to come on, so
Yep.
Cool.
Can I,
Oh, cool.
Let's show a picture real quick then.
that will happen.
As you sign off, look at these two rock stars. Look at these out of focus rock stars. There they go.
There they are.
Oh, come on.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Thumbnail.
so perfect.
that's the thumbnail for sure. Low battery.
You couldn't have planned that.
Brilliant.
That's what happened to me when I wanted to play something on my iPod. Same thing. Yeah.
Oh, that is so good.
Good night, everybody.
See you, Caleb.
Good night.
Oh,
Whenever you're ready, Johnny.
good. Sign us off, man. Johnny.
Well, have a great night, everyone. Tune in, subscribe, tune in on Tuesday with Johnny and 80s metal. Excuse me.
It wasn't me.
Have a good night.